Philadelphia. I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show.
Good morning, everybody. Live from the Xfinity Studios. This is the Anthony Gargano Show. We are presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Well, good morning. Good morning to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. What a busy weekend, man. This is really what I love because sports is back in a big way, and there's all kinds of stuff to tackle. Number one, Eagles. This is the calm week before the opener next Thursday. Preseason is finished. Now it's down to tomorrow and the roster cut down. Howie the Wizard, doing some tweaking. Sam Howell enters the QB room. Look, I know that our man Tanner McKee's banged up a little bit, but there's a couple things at play here. One, I think they look at Kyle McCord and go, all right, God forbid there's some serious, catastrophic stuff that happens and you need an emergency number 3. Kyle's not ready, right? Like Kyle needs to go and really just watch and learn and everything else. So you look at Sam Howell. You remember Sam Howell, when he was with Washington, had a little bit of a run, right? Like he had, and he played well against the Eagles. So I like that. You add another good arm to that room. That Eagles quarterback room is solid, man, every which way. So I think you got one of the best backups. We're going to do that this week, kind of go through the backup quarterbacks. I'm a huge McKee guy. He's dinged up a little bit, but he'll be fine, for the long run. You got McKee. You add Sam Howell to the mix. That's good. The other thing that's good is Fred Johnson, right? Like one area that they were missing was that swing tackle. They didn't really have one. They didn't have someone that could go in and, God forbid, in a pinch, got to give you both sides. Matt Pryor's not that guy. So I like the fact that they get Fred Johnson back from the Jaguars. They give it a 7th-round pick. So, you're good there. They also traded Kennard. He wasn't going to make the team. Traded him to Green Bay. You get a conditional 6th-round pick back. So Howie making moves. Now, I do think there's going to be more to come. I think as Tuesday approaches and the final roster, he's going to do he'll do some more tweaking. We'll talk to our guy on the scene, Fran Duffy, about the final roster. We'll kind of go through what it looks like right now and which areas need tweaking, right? Like, because we got to look at that secondary a little bit. So we'll dive into that today. Fightins. Wow, what a wild weekend for the Phillies. The Durantula is human, we think, right? So Friday night, we saw Duran blow a save. I honestly didn't think it was in him, right? Like, they were poking at the ball. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how, relievers are going to blow games. That's just, closers will blow a save here and there. Even your great ones. I know the Lids was Mr. Perfect that year, but relievers will blow a save, even those who throw 103 miles an hour. But it was a shock to the system to watch Durant. Like, I'm thinking, it's over. Like, literally, there's not a question in my mind the ball game was over. And the Nats came back and won. And they almost came back again Saturday night. Phils are up 6-4. And once again, those pesky Nats poking at the ball, right? And this time, Durant shuts the door. Yesterday, Ranger was magnificent. Second start in a row that Ranger was ridiculous. A career-high 11 strikeouts for Ranger Suarez. That's 2 masterful starts in a row by Ranger. Exactly what they need with the news that Wheeler, again, will be out sidelined 6 to 9 months, that the Phils announced over the weekend with his blood clot. Then, you needed, like Sanchez stepped up, Luzardo stepped up, Ranger now, 2 big-time starts, 11 strikeouts. He was ridiculous. There's nothing better to see than that, right? Like, that was the great panacea to watch Ranger go out and pitch like that. So you got Suarez looking good. Phils take 2 or 3 from Washington, and that sets up a monster series with the Mets. We got a huge one in New York tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. This is the step on their throat series, right? You go into it, you got a good hold on the NL East, and this is where you could put one of the nails in the coffin of the Mets. So you're going to have tonight Sanchez, who has looked so good, goes up against Kodai Senga. Tomorrow, Luzardo, who was, again, masterful his last start, he's up against Sean Manaea, who has not been the pitcher we saw last year. Remember, he changed his delivery last year, right around the end of July, and he was terrific, right? Up until through the playoffs against the Titans. But he has not been the same guy. So Luzardo, Manaea, and then Wednesday, Walker against a kid, Nolan McLean, who is really good. He's one of their young aces. He phenom pitcher for the Mets. In 2 starts, he's got 15 strikeouts and 12 in the third inning. Like, he's got great stuff. So that's your weekend. Important. I mean, that's your week, early week. Then you got the Braves on the back end here, Thursday to Sunday, culminating with Sunday Night Baseball. So a big week of division games for the Phillies, and this is a good stretch for you. All right? Heading into September to really kind of put a little bit of a lockdown on the division. That's a really important thing. Otherwise, it was a wild weekend, all kinds of things to go over, right? The prep, I watched every second of that game Friday night. They were up 28-0. They looked great. Charlie Folk, young quarterback, was incredible. Alex Haskell, our buddy, the defensive end who's going to Penn State, was tremendous. They're up 28-0 with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. And American Heritage down in Florida comes all the way back and to win the game on a last-second field goal. Kid hits a 40-yarder to win it. And prep goes down in the opener. I was thinking, we were talking to some of the people who saw the game, my buddy Boo, and all we're talking about it. Got to run the ball. It's no matter if it's Eagles or high school, at some point you got to run the ball a little more. And then Saturday or yesterday, Little League World Series, and that kid from China, from Taiwan, throwing 82 miles an hour. And from that distance, it looks like 107. Wild. I watch college football, Farmageddon, Iowa State and Kansas State. Friend of the program, Anthony Beck, his son Rocco was tremendous. They win. And then I was watching Kansas that night. They're going to be pretty good. I couldn't get enough of the college football, man. Between the prep game Friday night, there was a couple other high school games, and then the college football. I was all into that. And then I had a great baseball Sunday. Good morning, VG.
What's up, man? What a weekend.
A lot,
right?
Weekend. A lot of stuff. We got trades.
Howie's got my head spinning with all these trades.
Yeah.
Love it. It's Howie's time.
Listen, this is it. Your roster, you look at it, you got to look through it. I like it. I love Sam Howell. You're adding another accomplished arm. God forbid he needs to come in or whatever. You never know. Emergency third quarterback. You add to the room. And then Fred Johnson, that O-line depth, they needed that.
We've heard all training camp. The O-line was a concern, and obviously everybody in the building knew that too. Who's happier than Fred Johnson getting that phone call?
Oh, right. You go from Jacksonville back home to Philadelphia where you won?
Actual winners? Yeah. He's got to be the happiest guy today. But yeah, I mean, I guess I have no idea what these O-line guys do, the depth guys. I mean, I watched the game. I get Kennard, Kendall. There's a bunch of Ks. I get them all confused. Nobody really.
Kennard goes to, you don't need him now.
Yeah.
So Kennard goes to Green Bay.
Nobody really stood out, and I guess that's what they're thinking too. We better do something. We're not happy.
Yeah, I think they needed the swing guy. There was no swing guy that they could lean on.
Yeah.
And that was so I like that move.
Because Kendall, I guess they played him at guard a little bit. They're moving him around a good bit.
Yeah, but he's really a center.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a center. I mean, he can play guard in a pinch, but he's really a center.
I'm surprised Scene got released. The safety? So maybe they got something in mind for safety coming up. Because that's obviously a concern.
Yeah, I mean, that secondary piece is going to be interesting the next 2 days.
Yep.
That and edge. I still think you need another edge.
Did Uche not dress? I thought he did not dress.
Yeah,
that was weird, right?
Well, no.
He's locked in?
Yeah, I think you look at him, you go, I've seen enough, and makes the team. And they're thin, so I wouldn't have dressed them either.
Dude, and Ranger yesterday.
Go to the Phillies. Ranger was tremendous. You know what's so interesting is that for the longest
who
time,
wanted to trade that guy at the deadline? What a dope.
We started talking about, hey, what's going to happen in the free agency, right? Because you got big ticket free agents, Ranger, JT, Schwarber.
Mm-hmm.
And now look the way it's looking, like, especially with Wheeler uncertainty for certainly the beginning of next year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're looking at 6 to 9 months before you can come back. So you might have to sign Ranger.
That's going to be like 3 years, 75.
And then here's the other thing. You're in a pinch with all 3 free agents, right? You have JT, you have no catchers.
Right.
Now, you could go out and sign a free agent catchers cheap, but you got no catchers. You got no catchers coming up. And then you got Schwarber, who's your big ticket guy, and you have no power other than Schwarber.
Yeah, Schwarber has to come back.
Right? So Schwarber has to come back. You can make a case for Ranger, and you can make a case for JT.
So let me ask you about JT, because I had it as a nug later, but Bob Nightingale saying Adley Rushman's going to be the big trade target this offseason because they signed their young catcher to a pretty big deal now. So would you, between the two, would you trade for Rushman or would you rather sign JT?
Well, I mean, I trade for Rushman because
he's like 27. 28.
Yeah, and here's the thing with him is that, you just gain all those years. I just don't know what JT. I love JT. JT, the big home run Saturday.
I know. He keeps coming. He looks great at the plate right now.
He's clutch, man.
Yeah.
I love him. But, if you're building your team, he's a switch hitting catcher. He's got pop. He's a good ball.
You lose a little defensively, though.
Oh, a lot defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You lose a lot defensively. But you just gain in years.
I know.
I don't even think he's maybe 26.
I think he's 27.
Is he 27? I thought he was 26. But, yeah, the Orioles have that phenom who's like the number 2 prospect in baseball.
Yeah, and they just inked him to like a 6-year, 7-year deal. Rushman is 27.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you gotta look at that.
Yeah, it's a concern. Our boy Nola, nice quality start. Looked all right. He hit 94. The velocity's ticking up a little bit. What are you doing that for? He hit 6 Ks.
Yeah.
2 earned runs.
I watched him. I got to be honest with you.
You don't like his breaking stuff, his curveball? It looked good.
All right.
Man, you joined the Nola hating camp.
I don't.
You part of that?
I don't hate him. I just don't trust him now. I don't trust him. He gives up too many long balls. I don't trust him.
Yeah, but you could say that his whole career with the long balls.
Dude, there are points he gives up a lot of hard outs too. You were all bad. First of all, you shouldn't even talk because you were baked Saturday.
No.
Yeah.
I was reading those texts.
So he's texting me, Nola through 6th. I'm like, listen, burnout. It's the 5th inning, right? He looked okay.
I even checked in with my buddy. I was like, oh, he got through 6, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah.
We were also planning to get a guest, and he kept messing up the guy's name a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acting like you knew who it was.
You were in space.
He was in complete space. I said over to Brad Pitt, True Romance. picture.
Hey, I had a very productive day that day, and I wanted to relax afterwards. I hit the gym. I did some writing, some editing. Yeah.
There you
It's like,
go.
let's go
Okay.
relax and watch the
Well, you must
Phils.
not have watched the Phillies that closely, or you were certainly in space.
See, when you're in space like that, you get better observational skills. That's why I know Nola's on the right track.
Okay.
I don't know about that one.
All right. I think you
Cassie
got some issues.
looked good yesterday. I mean, I feel real good about the Phils.
Yeah, I mean,
Cubs are gaining on them, though. Right now, you got to keep an eye on the Cubs, too, for the second best record.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing, and this is the truth, and it's so hard because we want to feel good, right? Like we want to feel confident.
Yes.
And I can't tell you now because we're still a month out what it's going to be. Like,
I mean, you're 100% they're making the playoffs.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not even thinking about that.
Okay.
It's going to be a matter of, what their road is. But their lineup is so vital to their success that it's all going to come down to whether or not they're hitting the ball.
Yeah, well, I mean.
But they're a team that's not – it's not like you have a great offense that you go, all right, I know I can count on this. I don't know if I can count on it.
No, you can't. I mean, they've been inconsistent. This is the most consistent they've been all season.
Right, but you get my point. I feel good about it.
I mean, it could easily just go cold quick.
I feel good about them, but again, I can't take this window at the end of August. Like, we're still in August and extrapolate to October.
It's only 5 weeks away.
Yeah, but I mean, if I told you all of a sudden Ranger is not pitching well, or Nola gets blasted.
See, you don't even say maybe Nola really gets good.
I don't believe it.
I know. It's not even in your realm of consciousness.
I like Nola, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't like his stuff. Like his velocity was a little bit better.
Yeah, he hit 94 on the gun.
Yeah, well, I got.
He was hit 92 last.
Yeah, 94 is not exactly. Oh wow. I mean, I'm just giving you the.
Him at 94.
When you're around,
was almost as good as he gets.
As long as his breaking pitch is working.
Yes.
And but I still saw loud outs.
They're creeping
loud
up.
Outs.
They're creeping up on the Brewers. Brewers come down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
4-6 their last 10.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just can't be talking about playoffs now. It's too early.
All right.
It's too early to see how this team's going to be. Like, if I ask you, what do you believe? Like, I believe Sanchez is a lock. Like, I will get a great start out of Sanchez to every series. Like, I know I'm gonna. Sanchez is legit.
Mm-hmm.
I know Schwarber will produce. I believe Bryce will produce. And then after that, I don't know.
You believe that Topper will manage the platoon well?
Yeah, I mean that's what's going on now.
Lizard's going to give you 6 strong.
Well, I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah, I think Lizard, Nola, Sanchez. I think you get quality starts out of all of them.
Lizard fan. I love the rotation. The whole thing. But again, losing Wheeler at the top of it. See, when you're going with Wheeler and Sanchez, I mean that's just a huge advantage in the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cheat code, actually.
Right.
But
because
now we're just a good team with a good rotation. We had talked all along about how we had the surplus of good pitching in case something went wrong. We didn't think the best was going to go wrong, but something went wrong. So we still got enough to get through this, I believe.
Yeah. Do they have enough to win? Yeah. But, again, you can't expect me to go be bravado.
Because I also got to look at the landscape out there. I mean, the Tigers now have the best record in the American League. Phillies beat the Tigers.
Oh, forget the World Series. They get to the World Series, it's a whole another animal. Just get through the National League before you start looking at it. Stop. I don't want to hear about World Series.
Look at the landscape.
I don't want to hear about American League.
Nobody scares me out there anywhere.
I get it. You're a Phillies fan. I get it. But let's look at it objectively. I don't care about the American League. Put that aside.
Mm-hmm.
In the National League, you got a handful of teams. We know who they are. We've been talking about forever. The teams you got to worry about are the Cubs, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Padres.
Yep.
That's it. I don't believe in the Mets, or if something happened with the Reds catching the Mets, who knows?
Right.
But those are the teams, and it's going to be about how are they playing come October.
Yeah, I feel like however it plays out, I don't know. Maybe it's just this feels like the opposite of last year, where they were falling off a cliff and they seem to be right at the ship. I think this Wheeler thing, when someone gets injured and goes down, sometimes the teams.
Yeah, but that's got to sustain, dude. Like you can have an initial bounce. Like it was a great week. I mean, it was a great weekend. It really was. But like, if I'm going to be critical and look at it and go, well, you let the Nationals hang around. Even yesterday, like they should have blasted her. They should have blasted him.
Yeah, that guy stinks. But I mean, I don't know.
What? Listen,
I don't know.
You're a fan. You don't have to say you're a fan. You're wearing a hat.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Go Phils.
I'm a fan too, but I have to look at it more.
They won the series 2 out of 3. Taiwan Walker pitched one of those games. I mean, the Nationals are still a professional team. I mean, they just ended up winning a series against the Mets, right?
I mean, come on. We're talking about a World Series team. That's what we're having this conversation, right?
Yeah.
I like them. I think they have a really good chance.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can't be in here all looking at October right now. I just don't know how you can do that. You should know baseball by now. After all these years of going to the games, the times that you're actually lucid, you should understand that come October, it's a different game. That it's about how you're playing in October.
Well, I think how you're playing at the end of August and in September predicts and kind of leads into how you play in October. Last year, they got smoked in the playoffs. They looked terrible in the playoffs, and you could feel that coming. It doesn't feel like that this year.
That coming. We're not out of August yet.
I understand that.
So
they've been a really good team since the All-Star break.
Like if Wheeler was still here, I would be right there with you. If Wheeler was still here, I would be all with you. Yeah. But I mean, I got to keep it real with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And without Wheeler, that's a big loss. It's a huge loss.
No one's diminishing that loss.
Well, I don't know. I think you are.
Mm-mm.
I think you're minimalizing it.
I mean, I still think they have the best rotation right now in the National League.
I don't know.
I mean, the Dodgers, if they get healthy, sure.
I mean, the Brewers, I don't know. I don't look at the Padres. I don't know if I could say that. And again, other than Sanchez, who's a lock? I can't say Ranger because he had 2 good starts after 7 bad ones that he's okay. 7 mediocre ones.
The thing is, I just don't think when you look at the landscape, anyone's got a lock. I mean, Sanchez may be the best ace of everybody in the National League.
You just heard me.
Yeah, but then your number. Yeah, but then look at your number 2.
But again, we can compare and contrast the rotations, but you're selling Milwaukee short. I mean, Milwaukee's got great starting pitching, and so does San Diego. And if the Dodgers are healthy, so does the Dodgers. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying, so do the Phils.
The only point is Wheeler. I have to couch myself without Wheeler. I'm a huge Wheeler fan. I'm huge. Him and Sanchez together was so overwhelming with Duran in the back end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying they can't because I think they can, but I got to see it. I can see how you're pitching. I need to see a couple more starts. Talk to me middle of September, and then we can have this conversation. I've had too many of those Septembers, dude. Go back to 06, the Astros series. Right? Things like September's a big month.
I'm ready for it. It's going to be a good month. Hey, what do you think about they say you got to guard the lines now when Duran comes in? Do you like that? People are saying, of course, Topper, he needs to have the position players guarding the lines because if you get around, it's going to be late.
Yes. And you saw Washington do that in both of his outings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all they were doing was poking, was just trying to make contact and poke at it.
Yep. That's your only chance.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you poke it, you can put the ball in play, and you get lucky. I mean, and I would do that because there were 2 doubles that over the weekend that hurt you off of that.
Yep.
Off of just putting the bat out. All right. Lots to get to. Man, it's a busy weekend, dude.
The weekend is crazy. I mean, there was golf. The U.S. Open started yesterday for tennis. I mean, it's
I have to Like, I will not pay attention to the U.S. Open. I will not pay attention to golf. I will not. Like, I am such blinders because college football started, right?
I watched every
it's
minute of that
baseball
game.
and college football. I'm proud of you.
Week 0, every minute. I bet it.
Farmageddon.
I bet it, yeah. I thought
Farmageddon.
our boy Beck looked good.
Rocco.
Yeah, looked really good.
Yeah. Did you see Ant in the stands?
I did see him in the stands.
I was texting with him Saturday morning.
Did you?
Yeah. He had many Guinness over the week. And then how about the, what's he called? The kid's father, Avery Johnson's dad.
Yeah, we got some
quarterback
video of him
for
coming up later on.
K-State, brawling in Dublin.
With his son.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Dublin's
He wasn't
fine.
fighting his son.
Yes.
Oh, he was fighting fist fighting his other son?
Yes.
I thought he was fighting somebody else.
No.
With his son.
No. The brother and dad got in a
I
fight.
need more on that.
What?
I just thought he was fighting another person.
Nah.
Not his son.
No, I'm pretty sure in the
my
description
God.
would be.
All right, we got lots.
It's a
to
wild story.
We got lots to get to. Oh my God. Coming up, it's a Murphy Monday. Our man David Murphy will join us. Franny will join us at 10. And then Ron Shelton, the great writer and director who did Bull Durham. He did White Men Can't Jump. He did Tin Cup, Cobb. He wrote Blue Chips, The Great White Height. The Best of Times of Robin Williams. He's worked with Woody Harrelson, Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Robin Williams.
Oh,
All right. So he's going to join us at 10:30 to talk about sports movies
oh, nice.
and have some fun because he's got the number. I just saw a list come out and he has two of the top 25 or top 20.
Sports movies?
Yeah. Bull Durham
Love Bull Durham.
and White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, nice. Great
So
movie.
we'll talk to Ron coming up at 10:30. BG, what do you got for us?
Oh, let's talk about our people over at Ace Hardware. You know, they're like superheroes for me because I can't do anything around the house, and then they come in and save the day. So if you've got that outlet you said you'd fix last summer, well, Ace Hardware's got a person for that because now they're not just the helpful hardware folks. They're also the helpful home service and repair folks, from plumbing to heating, electrical, cooling. They've got trusted pros keep your house humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing the helpful home, the helpful you love from the store, now to your front door, from Philly all the way down to the Jersey Shore, too. At Ace Hardware, they bring experience. They're local plumbers and techs that handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations to upgrades. They bring understanding, listen to your goals, and make sure you're completely satisfied. And they give you some free time. You can spend time doing stuff you like watching sports or your hobbies. They'll give you free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home, your budget. And check this out. I mean, this is pretty important too. Their teams live and serve in the community. So they're dedicated to keeping their neighbors comfortable in their own home. So if you got something you needed to fix around the house, you haven't gotten to it, don't wait. Just call or visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com and get started on your next home project. And let's talk about TrueMark Financial. I love this program. It's their Greenlight program, and it's great for the kids. You know, the kids might have picking up a part-time job, and they might have an allowance, some birthday cash. So it's time to teach them real-world money skills and give them a little freedom. And that's what the Greenlight debit card and money app does. If you're a TrueMark Financial member, this is totally free for your kids or teens, and it's a simple way for them to manage their own money, whether it's from a job, allowance, birthday cash. They get their own debit card. They can set savings goals. They track their spending. They learn how to budget, all while you stay in the loop. You're in control, but they get to learn how money really works in everyday life. So while summer's finishing up, this is a great time to help your kids build smart money habits that'll stick with them long after the season's over. So head over to TrueMark.com/Greenlight and get all the details. Sign up today. Don't miss this chance to set your kids up financial success for now and the rest of their lives. TrueMark.com/Greenlight.
All right. Thank you, my man. All right. Time now for our buddy from the Inquirer. It's a Murphy Monday on the Xfinity mobile guest line.
Murphy, it's time for our lad, David Murphy.
What do you say, buddy? You're on mute. There you go.
I mean, I'm a jaded 43-year-old man, and there's not much in the world that brings a smile to my face consistently. But that segment, that intro, just warms my heart every time I hear that music.
Hey, well, we love you, and the great work by VG put that together. Let's get to it, pal. We got it was a busy weekend. Lots to go over with you. Let's go Phillies first, because I mean it was a good weekend. You take 2 or 3 from Washington. Durham was mortal, which was shocking to all. Like it was funny. I was like, oh my God, he blew a save. I didn't think it was possible that he could blow a save.
Yeah, I'm with you. And look, like Topper said, it's going to happen.
Right.
You're gonna take your chances on a guy throwing 103 any day of the week. As long as I mean, the big thing with him is he throws strikes, and you're gonna, the odds are gonna be against you every 1 out every 7 times. But he is the least of their concerns. Now, figuring out that 8th inning, you gotta figure out, you gotta get Orion Kirkring on track here. He's such a weird pitcher, and I don't say that to downgrade on him, but the numbers and the stuff don't necessarily equate with the eye test at times for me. Like for whatever reason, he does not exude the confidence, that a Madsen did back in the day, or that even Strom has when he's been at the top of his game. And I think one of those two guys. Now, look, David Robertson has come back from the grave again, but we've seen how that plays out, and I don't know that you can go banking on David Robertson being electric in the 8th inning in mid-October. Maybe he will, but I don't think you can count on it. I think you need, Strom. Look, I'm a OG Strom supporter, but he does not have the crispness that he did when he was a legit 8th inning guy. We need Kirkland to throw strikes is what it comes down to. I mean, that would be the message I'm preaching if I'm Rob Thompson. And, that's it. I don't think it's a dire thing, but I think if you're looking at holes, I mean, look at yesterday, you got 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. You can't bank on anything more than that in the postseason. And yet you still almost gave it away, So the formula is going to be yesterday, except they need that, if Sanchez gives you 7 scoreless, and strikes out 11 or 12, you got to lock down that 8th inning and then get it to Duran, because, we're seeing the one thing Duran has kind of opened everybody's eyes to is what dominance at the back end of a bullpen actually looks like, and then contrast that with what you get out of the 8th inning. Not, it's not awful, but
but I agree with you. Madsen was automatic. The bridge to Lids was sturdy. Right? Like you felt you would walk over it without any palpitations.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 2/9 of a game. The games were 7 innings long, essentially, know? And it was the same one with the Yankees when they were at their peak with Wetland and Rivera and all those guys that they kind of ran in there before him. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mariano Rivera was the best closer of all time, but that Yankees team always had that 8th inning locked down too. And, by the 4th or the 5th, if you were tied or behind, all of a sudden you're starting to look towards that 7th inning, thinking like it's the 9th,
No, that's spot on. So let's look at him, right? So you got the question there. The starting pitching has really come alive since Wheeler's, the news about Zach. I mean, Ranger, 2 ridiculous starts. He was unbelievable yesterday with 11 strikeouts. Nola was a little better on Saturday. I mean, we were just debating this. I don't have, like, I need to see a lot more before I start to feel comfortable with him starting in the playoffs.
Well, I was listening to that, and I don't know, Greg, maybe you've been watching a different Luzardo than myself, but I don't necessarily have any confidence in him going out there either. I'm not penciling that in, put it that way. I think I'm with you. Sanchez, I'm marking that down as a W. You got the edge no matter who he's pitching against. You feel really good about game 1. And then quite frankly, I think, Ranger Suarez's track record is what it is. He always hits this schneid in the middle of the season, and then he pulls out of it. And by the time he's ready for the playoffs, it's time for Thompson to just give him the game to start and say, you're going out there until your arm falls off, essentially. And we get what we did yesterday. And then we're gonna give it to the bullpen. I mean, that's my mentality if I'm Topper. Game 3 and 4, he's going to have to get creative, I think, and I don't think you can have a long leash with Luzardo. I don't think you can have a long leash with Nola. I think you're going to have to mix and match. And I don't know what that looks like, frankly. I don't know what that looks like. But, essentially I think you can still look at it where 2 games a series, 4 games a series, you can count on your pitching to win it for you. But then, that last win or two, you're going to need the lineup.
Yeah, see, that's where, and listen, with all due respect to my man here, and I mean, I'm Phillied up too, but losing Wheeler, like having Wheeler was such Wheeler Sanchez, because
you gotta look forward though.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You gotta look forward. Come on. It's it sucks. And we talked about it before it happened. Where it would be a huge blow. But the one thing that this team has built into it is they can at least weather that and still come out of it thinking we got a chance. There's not many other teams that could lose, their Cy Young caliber, game 1 starter and have any prayer of being in the position that the Phillies are in. I would say I agree with everything you guys were saying. While I was waiting to hop on, and it's so tough to talk about October baseball in August and September because it's a completely different game. And you have no idea. It's impossible to forecast. But I think one thing one thing I look at where I think has gotten a little short shrift over the years is how important matchups are, and it's the the flukiest thing. This goes back to, I remember sitting on Daily News Live back in the day next to Ben Davis and saying, the Phillies were on pace to win 110 games that year. I forget, it was 2010 or 2011. 2011 it was. And, everyone was high on the hog. And I kept on saying, look, this team should win the World Series. They're by far the best team in baseball. But if they play the Cardinals in a 5-game series, they're going to be in trouble because they got a bunch of left. They got that Jaime Garcia that they can't hit. They got, Chris Carpenter who can go toe-to-toe with anybody. And all of a sudden, you're looking at, for whatever reason, this team is always struggling.
And a 5-game series.
In a 5-game. And I think when you look at it now, the worst thing in the world, if they play the Reds, beautiful, But the Reds are 1 game behind the Mets right now. And if they end up playing the Mets again in a short series, I don't know. This team's got some mental stuff. And if you run them out there in a playoff game, after all the questions and they have to play the same team again, first thing, I would be nervous about that.
I don't know. When you say, I don't know. I think Luzardo the last 4 or 5 games looked really solid. I mean, if you take out
you're still on Luzardo?
If you take out, like, he's got 4 games. There's a 12-run game, the 8-run game, and then 2 other ones. I mean, I don't know. I think he's looked fine the last 4 outings. No?
I'm with he's fine. I just don't understand him, where he has the same Ranger thing where, he looks like a world beater and then goes out and gives up a 6th spot. But the thing with Rangers, I have confidence. I've seen him enough to know that he's gonna be there when the bullets start flying. Luzardo, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he for whatever reason, he's a guy that you look at the stuff, and it's like this guy should not be, giving up crooked numbers, in 25% of his outings.
He's given up a 6th spot or more 3 times. You act like it's happened like 10 times.
3 out of what though?
I don't know. How many starts does he have?
24. All right, and then how many? Yeah, so if it's 3 out of 21 starts, I don't know what's that ratio and what's the odds that he's going to have one of those in the postseason. I'm not saying, I'm sticking him in the bullpen. He's not Taijuan Walker. I'm just saying I'm with you where Sanchez is the kind of guy where it's like we're going to win 2 games a series because of Christopher Sanchez. And Wheeler was that guy where you're like, okay, we're going to win 2 games a series because of Zach Wheeler. Where I think Luzardo and Nola it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. It's like, well, we'll see which guy shows up, and there's no way to predict it necessarily.
I mean, I get that with Nola, 50-50 guy, maybe less than 50-50 at this point, but I think Luzardo is a 65-35 guy at this point.
I don't know. I mean, he was great for 11 starts, and then he had how long was that run where you were just like, man, he looks like a completely different pitcher? It almost feels like he's been maybe 60% dominant this season, 40% like, get you by maybe.
See, I like Luzardo. I love his stuff, right? I love his stuff. The thing that gives me pause for concern with him is, the whole idea about the stretch, the issues, like how's this Hague going to be in a playoff? Like, he's never pitched in the postseason, right? So
Yeah. Well, he
like
pitched against Wheeler.
that's the biggest thing. The one thing about, and I trust Luzardo's stuff more than Ranger stuff, because when Ranger's not good, he gets blasted, right?
Right.
But to your point, Ranger has done it, and I can count on him to handle the moment. He may not give me yesterday, but he'll handle the moment. Luzardo, I'm not sure about. I love his stuff, but I don't know what he's going to be like in October.
Well, let's talk it through, because it's so right now they're not catching the Brewers, right? They're not going to be the 1 seed, so they're going to have to beat somebody in that opening weekend, correct? And right now it would be the Reds, right?
The Reds,
right?
No, the Mets.
Who would they play right now if
things stopped right now?
It's the Mets, right?
Maybe the second. The Mets have the last wild card right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought the Reds did. So
the Reds are a game and a half back.
I think the Mets are the team. In a 3-game series, I think the edge goes to the Phillies, obviously. But I think still, look, this team has a little bit of mental to it, and they feel the pressure, and I'd be very interested in this. I would want to avoid the Mets at any cost in that those first 2 rounds is what it comes down to.
That's so interesting, because when you look at them, there's danger everywhere when you think about it. I mean, the Cubs can bash the ball with the best of them, right? James Italian's come back and he's looking better, right? I'm not in love with their pitching. Brewers have, to me, the best start, that best rotation now that Wheeler's out. And then you got the Dodgers and Padres. I mean, they're loaded. Both teams are loaded.
Which is fun, but it's kind of the funny thing, and it's where this team really does, have a lot of shades of that 08, 09, 010, 11 team, where it's not necessarily the great teams that scare you, where they have these certain teams are constructed in a way to give them problems. And, the Cardinals and Giants were it 10 years, 15 years ago. And it's the same kind of pitcher too. It's that lefty strike throwing Jose Quintana, Jaime Garcia. And the Mets have a guy like that they have a couple potential guys like that in Minaya and Peterson, right?
Yeah, but they're not. I've watched Peterson, Minaya. They don't look good at all.
They didn't look good last year either until the Phillies were playing against them.
But remember, Minaya changed his delivery, and he was on a roll. From the end of July, middle of July through the end of the season, he was on a major roll. He's not. Right. Both he and Peterson are getting banged around.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Maybe it's irrational. I hear you. The Mets are obviously the worst of those teams. And frankly, I would put the Padres as the best of them, probably. The Cubs, for whatever reason, don't scare me. I think they've definitely got some moxie, but I don't know if they have the rotation that's going to really.
Agreed. I mean, the Padres, they're weird because they have great pitching. Their lineup should be better.
Yeah,
their lineup should be a lot better than what it is.
Well, it's tough because they play in that park that's like a graveyard for baseballs, and it's so hard to project out. It's kind of like the Rockies when you're trying to project what their pitching staff's going to do. Not at altitude. It's hard. And, the Padres don't scare you just because, they're still the team that puts out dancing music videos, kind of thing. Like they don't.
I mean, their lineup and bullpen scares me. I'm not that scared with their pitching, especially if Michael King's not back. I'm looking
to be back.
I'm looking at the roster now. Dylan Cease, fine. Pavetta,
you did well.
I mean, you Darvish, you crapped on last week. Nestor Cortez, J.P. Sears. I mean, that's their rotation.
Well,
but the thing
is, Michael King's supposed to be back, and Pavetta and Cease are good. Like, I don't know.
They are,
but they're not trash. I mean, I'm not saying they're trash, but compared to our rotation,
the Phillies hit right-handed power pitchers, especially ones that don't throw strikes at times. And I think they hit Cease already this year. I don't think that they've struggled with him. I think they at least got 4 and 7 innings off him.
Yeah, you're right. The matchups, they match up well against right-handers like that. I agree with you. You guys are right. You know, because of Schwarber and Harper, and Stott, they match up against those right-handers.
Well, you just said the magic word, because that's the difficult thing, the process with this team, and we've talked about it all year. This team is a completely different team when Bryson Stott plays like a major league hitter, and to a lesser extent, JT Realmuto, because even when Realmuto is struggling, he's at least giving you something. But when Bryson Stott can give you a home run every 5 or 6 games and can really sting the ball and not get the bat knocked out of his hands, that's all you need in the lower third of that lineup to really turn it over and make Schwarber and Harper kind of feast to the max of their potential. I'm with you. I think Rob Thompson should get a lot of credit with how he's handling, after all the bellyache and handling this outfield down the stretch. He said, look, in his mind, I guarantee he said, listen, I'm going to play the matchups in the postseason, so I'm going to get these guys ready for that. If Nick Castellanos and Max Kepler, say they're not comfortable playing every other day, well, I'm going to start playing them every other day and get them comfortable. And I think it's paying off. I mean, Harrison Bader.
I agree.
He's been. Someone said to me the other day that he looks like every 1993 Philly kind of thrown in a blender and
yes, that's a great. I love that description. That's a great.
I was like, you know what? That is the perfect way to describe him, because I've been. But look, he's the kind of guy where when he steps up there, you're at least confident. Whereas Castellanos, you kind of just what you're going to get. You're either going to get a hit every now and then, or you're just going to get a completely uncompetitive at bat. At sliders out of the zone. Whereas Bader steps in there and you're like, all right, I got some confidence that this guy's going to at least, put the bat on the ball and give me some sort of chance in a big spot. So I think Bader's, I think Bader at some point is going to probably play every day in the postseason. And then right now it's just a matter of getting the other guys comfortable with being ready when called on, and then hoping one of those guys gets hot. Yeah.
No, without a doubt. All right, let's go Birds. What you got that face for? What's the face?
I don't know. I'm just you guys got me Philly
disgruntled.
Murph's telling me they're not catching the Brewers. The Brewers have lost 2. They've won 2 of their last 7.
I mean, dude, we're just talking realistic. I mean, jeez.
They got a tough schedule coming. The Brewers September coming up. I don't know. Maybe I am. Yeah, call me Phil. Just call me Phil today.
I'll call you Phyllis.
Yeah, all right, call me Phyllis. Fine.
Yeah, how much money did you lose this weekend, buddy? You seem a little cranky.
Me?
Yeah, he was.
I'm in a good mood. You guys are the curmudgeons.
Dude, I got to be honest with that.
What do here? Come on, man. We're just trying to be realistic about it. Again, it doesn't mean we don't think they have a chance. We just got done telling you.
What are they, 4.5 behind the Brewers at this point? They were like 12 a week and a half ago.
I'm not counting them out, but look, so college football. Here's the funny thing: it was an epic college football betting weekend for me. Week 0, which was legitimately what it was for me. I bet on the team whose father ended up rolling around in a mud puddle with his son after the loss.
What happened? Why did they fight?
I don't understand. I don't know.
I thought it was him fighting somebody else.
And then I bet on the fighting Frank Reichs, who got beat by a Japanese waiter who taught himself how to kick field goals off of YouTube at the age of 20.
You spoiler alert all my nugs. Come on, Murph. You're crushing me today.
And then you're just like, it's great. It's like, if you're going to lose at college football, it's great to lose in a memorable fashion. And getting beat by a Japanese waiter turned place kicker and a quarterback whose family is fighting over how bad the team is. It was a great weekend. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I took a bad beat on the forearm. I needed one more point for the over in that game, and Iowa State was like 3 inches short because their forearm came down. And then they just sat on the ball, victory formation.
By the way, my hot take is college football low key kind of sucks. It's just not. It's not good.
Wait.
It's not a good product. It's not a good product.
Wait.
Go back.
Wait. Repeat what you just said.
Go back and look at it.
He said low key college football kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's not a great product. Look at that Iowa State Kansas State game started. Turnover on down.
You just said Niagara Falls.
Turnover on downs, fumble, punt, fumble, interception. It's like, dude, there's like not enough quarterbacks to go around the NFL, and then you're like running these guys out there, playing on a soccer field, looking like like Lower Delco, Lower Providence, Pee Wee football players.
Oh man, I'm getting
But it's
out of the
better
way.
than
I do
nothing.
not want to get
All
hit.
right,
I don't want to get hit.
So
Let him readjust
your
his seat.
Your point is college football sucks
It's not
because
a
of
great
the
product.
opening
He
game.
said kind of sucks.
It's not a great product. It really isn't. The games take 4.5 hours.
Oh
Halftime
my
is
God,
45
dude,
minutes.
it's the greatest. What are you talking about? If you like the sport, it's incredible. You get a mix and match of different offenses. These kids now are coming in, quarterbacks being able to spin it. Did you watch Friday night, the prep American Heritage game?
I did not know.
I mean, you should see the two quarterbacks. They looked, I can't believe they're in high school. How polished they are, making every throws. It's a great product. You're looking at one game from Dublin, and you're coming up with this hot take. You're
I'm not looking at one
killing me, man.
I'm not one.
To watch Texas Ohio State next weekend, and then tell me it sucks.
I am not watching another game. I'm pretty sure Hawaii started by fair catching a kickoff and then fumbling into their own end zone. You know, like
Read the room, Murph.
Dude,
Read
it's
the room.
week 0. Dude, like, what are you nuts?
Hey, I'm just an NFL guy. Is what it comes down.
Take
to.
it back.
I have
love
a high.
Murph.
I have a high standard. I have high standards for my football.
High standard. We're gonna watch the Colts and then call me about the Colts.
Yeah,
all right.
But I actually think
Daniel Jones and then call. Listen, the NFL's great, but you can't pee on college football, dude. Come on.
He just
did. After one game in Dublin because you lost the bet. You're just like these dudes who are harassing athletes who they lost the bet. Now the whole thing sucks.
I'm not harassing athletes,
bro. You're a sportsman.
I'm harassing a sport, a whole sport. I'm throwing it under the bus. Get out of here. Let's watch live golf on Saturdays.
All right, let's talk Eagles before I lose it. All right. I love college football. Love it.
So do I.
I would say I'm only about.
I love it
I
too.
would say I'm only about 65% serious, but I am 65% serious.
All right, let's go to Eagles. Eagles. Howie tweaking gets a quarterback. Obviously, Kyle McCord's not ready to be a third quarterback just yet. He needs to go in bubble wrap. So you get Sam Howell.
He should be starting a college football game that he shouldn't be starting either. Sorry. I mean, did you watch Syracuse? Did you watch Syracuse last year? Sorry. Yeah. All right, let's go.
He then gets Fred Johnson to swing tackle, which they needed depth-wise. What do you expect? What are you hoping for before Tuesday and you set the roster?
I mean, I think that they're kind of, look, this is kind of Howie's time to shine. The legend of Howie. I've come around on Howie Roseman. I've been a critic of his in the past. I very much appreciate him and recognize that how fortunate the Eagles are to have him compared to a lot of his peers. That being said,
so you needed 2 Super Bowls, first 2 in the history of the franchise, for you to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I would say Murph. I would say I needed that. I'm not going to relitigate the whole Howie thing. The point is, at the end of the day,
opened the can of words with the college football take.
He's not doing. There's not much you can do at this point in time to do anything that's going to change your chances materially. I mean, people will like the legend of Howie kind of milking a 5th round pick out of the Browns for Kenny Pickett and stuff like that. Like at the end of the day, he swapped Sam Howell for Kenny Pickett, and at the end of the day, the Eagles' chances didn't change regardless of who their backup quarterback is. Whatever. Yeah, I don't think there's anything big that needs to happen right now. This team's pretty complete.
Well, you got an issue with safety, and you could use some.
But what are you going to do? You can't fix that at this point. Like you can't. They tried it with Byard.
I mean, you don't know what trades are out there. You don't know what's potentially out there at safety.
What's your economics?
You can also look at they need some edge depth help. Like I disagree with your whole premise that you can't affect your football team with these. Like Fred Johnson is a good move. Like. Because throughout the course of the year, guys are going to get nicked up. So
I'm not saying
you need guys you can count on.
I'm not saying it's a bad mood. I'm just saying we're just like finding things to get excited about because we got 2 weeks to kill. I mean, Like when's the last move that happened?
I mean, like these roster
Give me
moves
an example
matter.
of one. Give me an example of one move that happened in this stretch between the last preseason game and week 1 that materially impacted anything the Eagles have ever done.
I mean, they've done the Jay Ajayi, the first Super Bowl year.
That was
right?
mid-season, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you wanted from. So your stipulation is this week?
Yeah, you're not going to.
Let me go back and look.
You're not going to get it. You're not going to find it.
I don't know off the top of my head, but let me go back and look at it, and then next week I'll have an answer for you.
I'm sure there's one that shows me to be a complete idiot, but I can't think of it right now.
Again, it's just about tweaks. Like I'm not saying, I'm not doing cartwheels or whatever.
Look,
but
I'm with you.
They're solid moves. Like
I'm with you. I think honestly, one of my bigger questions for the season that I don't know that I've read a lot about is Dallas Goedert a little bit. Like the tight end position was such a weapon for them. In that Chiefs Super Bowl. Remember we were talking about him being on par with Travis Kelce at that point in time. I'm curious what they're going to get out of that position this year.
Why are you concerned?
Well, I mean, he was a shell of himself last year.
I do think that there were. I mean, he was injured. I mean, there was he wound up having some big plays in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. I think that's like, put it this way, 2 years ago you would have penciled in Dallas Goedert as one of the big 3,
right.
And now I'm curious how that position has evolved.
Well, I think it's a blessing that you got him back after what you were looking at.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just curious. I'm curious where he is because my whole point is I don't think he was. I don't think last year was an indication of his true self, right? But at the same time, 2 years ago, he was being talked about as potentially the heir apparent to Travis Kelce. So where is he actually?
But he never got the volume. The only thing is, he doesn't have the volume. Like the middle of the field, Jalen doesn't throw a lot to that middle of the field. Like you see the damage he does are a lot of tight end screens, right? Where he's barreling down, right? Or maybe a go because Jalen throws that ball. But your traditional like 12 yards middle of the field, working space. Jalen really doesn't make that throw. He doesn't usually hit. So his targets, he doesn't get the target share that other big time tight ends do.
Yeah, I guess my big question is he's still a big time tight end because he didn't look like one last year. And I think that if you're let's keep in mind we're nitpicking here, right? I mean, this team is the roster's great and they should win the Super Bowl. And I think that they're one of the best teams in recent NFL history. But if I were to nitpick and find things that I'm actually curious about with this team, tight end is one of them. Because again, the passing game was not there were times last year where we were openly complaining about the passing game. And it wasn't that is one area of offense where they can improve. And and they can improve significantly. I mean, Jalen Hurts threw 2,500 yards last year or something like that. And then I'm with you. I think edge rush is the other big question. I think that's
edge rush is safety. Like safeties, especially with Makuba and the hamstring. Like I'm legitimately concerned about that safety. Sidney Brown is an in-the-box safety, right?
Right.
And I mean, you're vulnerable up top, especially when you got CB2, who I think is going to wind up being Ja'Cory Bennett, being a little vulnerable, right? So you can't clone Cooper, and so I'm a little concerned about those areas.
That's actually a great point because if and one that I probably haven't really, I know it intuitively, but I don't I kind of forget about how big a weakness it could be. I mean, if you're taking, look, Darius Slay was a liability at times last year, but we forget how much of a weapon Chauncey Gardner was, and taking those two guys away from secondary and not really having ready replacements, it can only impact you, So I'm with you. I just don't know that I don't think there's anything you can really do to fix that at this stage of the game. I think everyone knew that was going to be a problem, all year and they haven't had a chance to really do it. So I think you see running backs change hands this time of year, backup offensive line.
I think safety is a spot you can address this time of the year. And I think edge depth you can address.
Yeah. but the edge, I think that the edge was a low key. I don't want to say concern last year, but when there were times when they were shut down and it completely changed the complexion of the opponent they were facing and the ability of their secondary to kind of hang with it. So yeah, I'm with you. I think you need to see a big step forward from one of those guys. And it could be any one of them. But they need someone to kind of be that Hassan Reddick weapon he was when he was kind of one of the most feared in the NFL. I mean, that's the one thing they're missing on that defense.
Yeah. Murph, great stuff, man. What are you working on? What can we?
I'm back. I'm back from paternity leave.
I know you are.
I'm ready to rock. I'm diving into Phillies this week. I want to spend a lot of time kind of looking at these opponents that they could potentially face, because my whole Mets take is kind of it's just a hypothesis at this point. I haven't really dove into it yet.
I like it, man. It was a fun conversation talking about these Padres, Dodgers, Brewers, Cubs. Size them up, man. I love it.
Today I'm gonna sit down and kind of rank these teams kind of 1 through 7, and because again, Brewers, I have a blind spot for them too, where I just don't take them seriously. And I'm with you. Like I get
their
it.
Pitching is legit. The Bizarowski's going to come back.
I know it's a total blind spot. It's just for whatever reason I don't know if it's Bernie the Brewer or the Dome or Hoskins or CC Sabathia back in. I don't know what it is, but I've never taken them seriously. I've never taken them seriously as a threat. So I need to maybe that's what I'm going to try to do today, is talk myself into the Brewers, because obviously they're they got a manager who eats pancakes out of his pants pocket.
Yes,
and that is something that is a dangerous thing come postseason time.
My brother, thank you. Great conversation. Great stuff. Always fun with you. Appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. See you guys.
Murphy Mondays.
Oh, man.
College football sucks. Murph.
Low-key kind of sucks.
Well, because you lost a bet. That's what's wrong with everything.
Calling him David Downer.
Did you see twice last week, death threats, fans death threats to pitchers.
To pitchers?
Yeah. In fact, there was a guy from the Mariners who got lit up. He pitched here. You remember the Wednesday game? The Phillies broke it open. They won like 11-2.
Yeah.
Well, the guy Saucio.
Yeah.
He got lit up, and he got a death threat to his girlfriend. Horrible.
Jeez.
I mean, it wasn't just like a death threat. It was terrible.
What are we doing?
There was another one. Who was the other guy who got drilled? And they sent a DM to his girlfriend. And it was awful.
Yeah, I read
that.
I read the one DM that went to the Mariners pitcher. I mean, it was graphic and it was gross.
Oh,
it was shameful.
Yeah.
Shameful.
It's amazing you would actually write this stuff to people.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, now a guy like that should be prosecuted.
Oh, 100%.
I saw Michael Porter Jr. talking about prop bets, and he's like, we all get the DM threats if we have a bad game or we don't hit our targets. People are lunatics.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's only get worse.
These are people's lives. At the end of the day, it's a sport.
I know.
Relax. Just relax.
And I know, like, you just typing words on your phone or your keyboard or whatever, but I mean, they're affecting people. You're sending them to people. They read them.
I know.
Death threats over sports betting.
I know. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. All right. Lots to get to. Let's take care of some business, and then we go to Franny Films. Thank God, somebody who loves college football.
What are you talking about? I watched every minute of that game.
Here's another one. I'm bitching about the forearm.
Could you just leave your forearm up a little bit, bro?
Oh, my God, dude. Stop. All right. Let's talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Perfect segue.
Perfect.
Here we go. Football season's almost here. Birds are back. They are a touchdown favorite hosting Dallas a week from Thursday. Can you believe it? So this is why I know it's great. It's like right around the corner because it's in the commercial copy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's a big deal.
You're not betting futures now.
Right. So Birds are 7. Total is 46. Eagles and over. The Eagles and over, baby.
I like it.
Eagles and over all day long.
I might even go Eagles minus 9.5. I think they win by
Right.
at least 10.
Dude, 13 and a half. All right. I would do this. I would look at 19 and a half.
All
right. Pro football is almost here. And man, our team at the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app has you covered. Amazing offer to start the season. The Bet Parks $25,000 kickoff giveaway, right? The only sportsbook and app that we'll ever recommend. Here's how it works. New and existing Bet Parks users just place a $25 bet on the opener between the Cowboys and the Birds, and you're automatically entered to win a share of $25,000 in bonus bets from the team at Bet Parks.
Ooh, wow.
All you got to do is play a $25 bet.
Man.
You're going to do it anyway. Go with the best sports book out there, the Bet Parks. It's local, too. Best Parks Sportsbook online casino app. BetParks.com has terms and conditions. Winners will be announced on September 5th. All right?
Yeah.
So make sure you do it. I know, VG, you'll be doing it. It's the $25,000 kickoff giveaway from my team at Bet Parks, where there's always another way to win. Got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, let's talk Xfinity Internet, the most reliable Wi-Fi with the best in-class equipment. The Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. That's right, booming. Whether you're streaming, gaming, working from home, the Xfinity Wi-Fi, boom.
Boom.
Now, I know I'm a customer. I got 2 kids who game. I can't get them off it. I told them, yo, dude, we got school starting soon.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Out. Games are unplugged. All right. Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet. All right. Like we're last night, like we watch we watch TV on an iPad in bed.
Yeah.
Like it's so bizarre now. We used to have TVs everywhere.
Wait, is there no TV in the bedroom?
We don't use it.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, we use
You
the
got
iPad.
both iPad?
Yeah. And that's why with Xfinity Internet, you could do stuff like that. And don't forget, internet and mobile. Xfinity combines the power of internet and mobile. So you've got lightning fast speeds at home and then on the go. With Xfinity Internet and mobile together, the Wi-Fi is booming wherever you are. Get Xfinity Internet plus mobile and supercharge your phone with Wi-Fi Power Boost for the ultimate connection. Xfinity Internet and mobile are the power couple, the ultimate power couple. And with Wi-Fi Power Boost, Xfinity Mobile gets you ultra-fast speeds, reliable internet at home, and a secure network on the go. All right? Internet plus mobile, stronger together. Xfinity combines the power of internet and mobile, so you're always booming, baby. Most reliable Wi-Fi claim based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Restrictions apply. All right. Now, let's go. You ready?
Yes.
To the film room as we get ready for roster cut down. Our man, Franny Films. What do you say,
guys?
buddy?
How's everything?
Good. I thought we have our Franny Films open or no? We don't do that?
It's my bad. It was on our other system. We haven't had Fran in a while.
All right.
I'm gonna get it and make sure I have
All
it for
right.
him
Look
next
at that
week.
smile
I
on the
promise.
face.
Sorry, Fran.
No, that's all right. On the Xfinity
Forgiven
mobile
Andrew.
call-in line, our man Films. Films, all right, let's go over. I was just arguing with David Murphy about the tweaks. So roster tweaks matter this time of the year, and I thought Howie did a good job yesterday in tweaking it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that is always going to try and find an advantage on the margins, right? And try and see, okay, well, where can we make to your word, this little tweak here, this little tweak there, and you never know when you make a call to a team and you call all these, Howie is always working the phones. You never know when a team is willing to jettison C.J. Gardner-Johnson, right? A team is willing to jettison Ronald Darby. A team is willing to jettison an A.J. Brown the night of the draft, right? So you're always making those calls. Sometimes you're going to unearth a big gem like one of those, and sometimes you're going to try and find, again, these players that, yeah, right now it might not seem like a big deal, but if it's week 11 and Jordan Mailata has the flu and he can't go, now you feel better about Fred Johnson going in at left tackle as opposed to what the Eagles have been seeing here this summer, where the offensive line depth was a big question. And I said, continue. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if there's another move or two here in the next 36 hours as well.
Yeah. Well, let's get to that in a moment. Start with, I agree with Fred Johnson. I think they felt comfortable. There was no swing tackle that emerged that you felt comfortable with.
Yeah, they went out and they signed Kendall Lamb this offseason. This is a guy that's been in the league for a long, long time. He was coming off a big injury. And so, all right, let's see what he's got. I think when you're looking at some of these other players that they brought in, obviously they couldn't address the offensive tackle position until very late in the draft. And so you go and you take two swings there on Miles Hinton and Cameron Williams. And while Hinton certainly looks the part, and Williams looks the part, Williams is really young, but he still needs a lot of development. Hinton looks the part, was never really the whole was never greater than the sum of the parts, right? When you watched him in college, and I think overall this summer he's been okay. I think that's someone you want to develop. But again, if you have something happens with Jordan Mailata or Lane, I don't think you want to play him right now for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, right? And so I think that certainty. You're paying to pay a 7th-round pick to bring in Fred Johnson, who executed that role really well last year, played over 400 snaps for the Eagles a year ago. I think it makes all the sense in the world.
And look, Tanner McKee's going to be fine.
Yep.
But I think, and I talked to people down there, and I think they looked at it like there was a void. They needed another guy just in case. Kyle's not ready. McCord's not ready to be that third quarterback. He's got to go in bubble wrap. He's got a lot to learn. And I thought Howell makes sense. So you got a strong room now.
Yeah, and that's what when I watched McCord at Syracuse, that was my concern with him going super high in the draft, was that I liked the ability, but I still felt like he was a year away from being a year away kind of situation, right? And I think that's when you're looking at McCord now, still worthy of developing, and it's a guy that you want to keep in the system, you want to keep him in the pipeline, but now you bring in, you didn't want him to be a play away from being a play away, and that's that was the reality of where you were at. If you were going to go into the season again for a team with Super Bowl aspirations, you're paying for that certainty. The Eagles were able to find, we talked about the margins. You're going to save some money here, save some money there in February, in March, in April. Well, now when you get onto the eve of the season, now it's it's time to buckle up. They go, we're going to try and put this team in a position to make a run. Now let's spend where we need to, again, just to try and find those advantages.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. So what's next? So safety, edge, right? Those are the spots that I think they're going to look at. I don't think they go with another corner. I think it's going to be Bennett, but I think they'll look at safety, and I think they'll definitely look at edge depth.
Yeah, and I wouldn't completely rule out corner as well. So I now at whose expense? To me, you don't make another corner deal unless you're shipping out, one of these other guys, right? If you're shipping out Bennett, if you're shipping out Adoree Jackson, if you're shipping out Ringo, that to me that you would because right now, I did my final 53 last night, submitted that to EJ for the beat writer yearly competition, and so I had them carrying 6 corners. I don't think they're going to carry 7, and I felt good. I was I guess the only guy that I think they would outright release would be Bennett. But just because you didn't pay a huge price to go and get him, I guess it could be Adoree. My gut says that Adoree Jackson is the starter for week 1. But I'm fascinated to see what they decide to do. I do think that safety is a possibility, but at that position in this defensive scheme, I don't know that you're going to make a trade for somebody to come in and then they're going to come in and be able to step in and start in week 1. And so I think that it's probably most likely that that's going to be Sidney Brown week 1. You have Drew Makuba. Now you've got Tristan McCollum and Andre Sam there as safety 4, safety 5. How many of those guys make it to the final 53? We'll find out here in 36 hours. But I think it's going to be, to me, the edge rush position. That's the other one that you mentioned, certainly to keep an eye on.
Yeah, see, to me, I think the edge is the spot that they're going to add to. I keep hearing they want Bennett to win the job. That's the feeling I think that everybody has down there. That they want, and that he's still getting used to the scheme. and that they believe that he's probably best suited to win that job once he gets a handle on it?
Yeah, I think that when you look at Bennett, and that's why like they gave him a good amount of reps in the third preseason game against the Jets, just to continue to kind of let him take those reps as best you can. I think at the end of the day, he's going to have limitations, right? I think that he's pretty good when he's up in the receiver's face, press man coverage, let him go to work. He's pretty good there. When he's in off coverage and he's got to read things out. I thought that in college he showed some he showed some route recognition chops. He showed the ability to make those kind of plays. He is a little bit tight, and so if the instincts aren't quite there, and if the confidence isn't quite there, because he's got some athletic limitations in terms of like change of direction, that hip tightness, that now you're like 2 steps behind, right? And so I think that would be the worry if you were to throw him in right away. That's why I kind of wonder if it's going to be Adoree Jackson early. And the Keely Ringo of it all is really interesting as well. Is from a confidence standpoint, like, can you get him up to fully up to speed so that he can realize this potential? I mean, we're going into year 3, year 4 at this point, and so the clock is certainly ticking there on Ringo.
Yeah, I think they're disappointed.
Yeah,
I think
I would say so.
I
Yes.
mean, like they expected him to kind of seize the job, and obviously it's been a disaster really for him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and like I remember his first year, and it's almost like a microcosm of what this whole situation has become. His first year, he comes in as a rookie, and there were a number of plays that first training camp where it's like ball's thrown, it's an out route, he's playing an off coverage, and he jumps it, and instead of like catching the ball, picking it off, and going the other way, he just goes and like knocks it down. It's like, dude, like go make the play. It's there for you, make the play. And I almost look at that as a microcosm of his situation here this year, where to me, like, you're gearing up this summer. This is your job. Like, go and take it, Keely. Like, he had the first crack at it. I think that you're hoping that he can go and just kind of take the bull by the horns and take that job. And as you said, I mean, he just didn't do that. He didn't come through here this summer.
So, edge-wise, anybody out there that you think is on a bubble somewhere? Anybody out there that's got a surplus of edge that you can make a move?
Yeah, it's tricky because that's a position where most people would say you can never have enough pass rushers, and so I think you're kind of bargain bin shopping here at this point in the calendar. I would be surprised if it were a big name like a Trey Hendrickson like that. To me, that would be extremely surprising.
They can't afford them. They can't afford
exactly. That's like from a money standpoint. I don't think that the Eagles are in position to be able to do something like that. So I think at the end of the day, you're probably looking more along the lines of a guy that's on a rookie deal, probably going into his final season, where, all right, like you don't have to give up too much because you only have 1 year of control, and you can. This is a guy that can come in. Maybe he was disappointing in his first start or in his first stop. I don't think it's going to be someone that's got like this long resume of established NFL success. I just don't know that they're in a position to be able to make that kind of a move. So that's why I said at the very top, like how he's making those calls, because you never know. At this point, when I look at all 31 other depth charts, I'm not saying, oh yeah, this one makes sense, just because you don't know how all the other teams feel about their own players.
Hey, Fran, let me ask you about, while we're speaking about this, the Falcons on their edge, Arnold Ebiketie. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but I saw that he might be expendable because they drafted and signed a bunch of edge rushers down there. He had like a strong second half of the season. I think he had 6 sacks in his last 5 games. Do you think he might be someone who is available?
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? So they drafted 2 guys in the first round down in Atlanta, but this is a team that is starving for pass rush with an organization with a regime that, like, if they don't win, there's a chance that they make a change at general manager. So to me, like, if I'm Terry Fontenot, who's the GM down there, I'm not giving away these guys because I need every horse I can get in the stable to try and push this thing over the finish line and try and win a division. And so to me, like, I don't know that it would make complete sense for them to make that move unless they just said, he's just not a scheme fit, because they made a change at defensive coordinator. Jeff Ulbrich comes down from the New York Jets. So maybe it's like, hey, like, this guy's just not going to play for us. It's not a good fit. Then maybe you're able to take advantage. That's what happened, honestly, with the Jacorian Bennett move, where Pete Carroll comes in. It's a new defensive philosophy. Hey, you know what? This makes sense. We'll move on from Bennett. I don't know that Atlanta is in the same stage, though, where you would say, hey, you know what? This is a team where you can pry a player away from them.
Let me ask you about one other name. Anthony will probably hate this. Do you remember the guy on the Bears who was taunting the fans while the Commanders did a last-minute touchdown?
The corner, yes.
Yeah. Tyreek
Michael Jackson,
Stevenson.
or not Michael Jackson.
Tyreek Stevenson,
Jackson, the other
right?
Miami corner. What's that?
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah, it says Stevenson. Yes, that was the other Miami corner.
There's. I also read that he could be expendable out there. Was that someone you would like for depth?
I mean, I loved the film when he was at Miami. Like, I saw a starting corner. That would be one. Those are the kind of situations, VG, that would make sense. Like, from like, you could tell yourself the story. Well, why would this team want to move on from a starting level corner? All right, well, it's a new defensive system. Dennis Allen comes in as the defensive coordinator. Maybe he's got his guy that you can move on from. He's had some highs and lows in the league so far, Stevenson. So, yeah, I would be excited by that. The former, I believe he was a second-round pick when he came out. If not, he was a third-round pick. I think Stevenson's got real ability. I don't know that they're willing to move on from him. I do think that from a skill set standpoint, he's a really good fit for what Dennis Allen likes to do. So I think you make that call. I don't know what it would take to get him away from Chicago, though.
Gotcha. All right. So let's get through. You're 53. Who do you have? Give me your bubble guys. How confident? Let's start on the offensive side of the ball and kind of where you're at.
So let me pull it up real quick. All right. So offensive side of the ball, I went 3 quarterbacks: Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Sam Howell. I did keep 3 running backs. I kept A.J. Dillon on the roster. And I just feel like, this is a team that wants to be able to run the football. They could do some of the, the things we've seen from them in the past where you cut A.J. Dillon, then you bring him back in week 2 once that way his contract's not fully guaranteed, those kinds of things. That's certainly possible here. But I did have them keeping him on the 53. I think receiver that, 2 weeks ago, this was a cloudy one where it's like, I don't know how. I think this is pretty cut and dry. I think it's 5 receivers. You have AJ, Devontae, Jahan Dotson. I think the rookie undrafted free agent Darius Cooper, I think he's on the team. And then John Mechie, who you just traded for. Johnny Wilson gets hurt. I had them moving on from Aniyah Smith. I had them moving on from Elijah Cooks. I think both guys, are practice squad targets and end up back here in Philadelphia in that way.
I agree. Let me tell you right off the bat, I agree 100% there with you. That's what I hear.
Feel good about that then. Yeah. Tight end, I had him keeping 3. You go Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra. I have them keeping Kylan Granson. This is a guy that when they signed him this offseason, they brought in a number of tight ends since the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah, Granson was the one I felt best about just because of the potential role as a pass catcher, as a move player, and what he does on special teams. He's been a factor on special teams all summer long. So Granson I've got making the team. I don't have Ben Van Sumeren on my 50. He was a guy that I was wavering back and forth. I think he's a guy where he certainly could be on the 53. I think he's in their plans for this year. But I mentioned it with A.J. Dillon earlier where it's like, all right, maybe you bring him and you either try and bring him back next year or next week, or you bring him to the practice squad. You don't think a team's going to pick him up on waivers. You put him on the practice squad, and then you elevate him. You've got 3 elevations for these vets throughout the course of the year from the practice squad. I think Ben Van Sumeren could be one of those players. So Van Sumeren was one.
Do you think he doesn't add enough on? He doesn't add enough on special teams for you? I kind of like him on special teams.
He does. That's why I think that if at the end of the day he's going to be there at Lincoln Financial Field on Thursday night in week 1. He's going to be on the field. I just think it will be as a member of the practice squad, and he's elevated week 1 as opposed to a member of the official 53-man roster when we get to 4:00 tomorrow. Okay. So I do think Ben Van Sumeren's on the team, just not on the 53 to start the year. I went 10 O-linemen. I went heavy O-line. This was tricky. I obviously account for the Fred Johnson trade last night. I have them keeping Matt Pryor. I have them keeping 2 of the rookie draft picks, Drew Kendall and Miles Hinton. I think Cameron Williams ends up on the practice squad. I do have them keeping Brett Toth. We went back and forth on this recently on the show where it's like, all right, well, Brett Toth, is he actually going to be the starter for Landon Dickerson? He's gotten all the reps. I don't think that,
he's going to make the team. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think they go 10.
Yeah.
I think you're not going to expose Hinton. You want to develop Hinton.
Yeah, they typically will kind of earmark a couple of those spots in the back end of the 53 for like true developmental players that you don't want to expose to waivers. And Hinton, I think, is going to fit in that bucket this year for this team. So I ended up going that way with that position.
Did you say Trevor Keegan? Do you have him making the 53?
No, I ended up moving on from Trevor Keegan. I didn't even have Keegan on the practice squad because we had to do practice squad picks for a tiebreaker for this competition. I ended up not having him on the practice squad. I went with Holland Pierce instead. I could be wrong there. We'll see. Pierce and Cameron Williams are two like tackle guard potential players, but yeah, I did not have Keegan on the practice squad either. So we'll see if I'm wrong on that one. Going over defense, I have them keeping 5 defensive tackles. So Jalen Carter, Moro Ojimo, Jordan Davis, the rookie Ty Robinson, and then the second-year defensive tackle Gabe Hall. I did have them moving on from Byron Young, who I do believe has a chance to be on the practice squad as well, unless a team scoops him up off waivers. And then Jacob Sykes, he's another defensive tackle. I had him making the practice squad as well. And so those were my picks for D tackle.
Edge.
Here's the interesting one. Edge. So I do think that this is a position where they could potentially try and make a move on the pro market, with some kind of a trade. The thing that makes this one very difficult in terms of predicting the 53 initially is the injury to Josh Uche that happened late last week. And so if his status for week 1 is in doubt, then I think all right, you're going to keep him on the roster unless I don't think it's going to be anything where he's going to be a short-term reserve
I don't
option.
think it's I don't think it's that serious.
Yeah, and so like if it's just like maybe he's questionable or doubtful for week 1, then he's going to be on the 53. Does that mean Ojulari's on? Does that mean Okoronkwo's on? Does that mean Patrick Johnson's on? It's going to be some kind of combination. I don't think that we're going to see them make this roster announcement tomorrow, and it's only 3 of those names, right? And so I think that it's Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Josh Uche. Feel great about all 3 of them. I kept Patrick Johnson for special teams, so I've had Patrick Johnson on the 53.
He's going to make it.
Yeah, I feel good about Patrick Johnson there. He also kind of fits the Fangio archetype of like he can drop back, he can rush, he can do a little bit of everything. I ended up putting both of the vets on there, Azeez Ojulari and Okoronkwo, only because it's like one is kind of a placeholder for whatever vet I think is going to they're going to try and make a deal for, and then the other was like, all right, well, they were in camp all year. You're probably going to have this guy be on the field in week 1, and maybe the guy that you trade for is inactive for week 1 as he gets accustomed to the scheme. So I ended up going with 6. I don't think that those are going to be the 6, but for the nature of the competition, that's where I went with.
I like it. That's great stuff. My brother, listen, this is your week. This is your time. It's beginning. We cannot wait. Great college football. I don't know. Did you watch the games?
I watched a little bit on. I watched the end of Stanford and Hawaii on Saturday, and then I watched Farmageddon on film. So Kansas State, Iowa State, and then I rewatched
Kansas.
Daniels beat the brakes off of Fresno. Yeah, I saw the end of that game.
Dude, they're good. The quarterback is taking that step. Like
they're sneaky.
They could have put up 50.
Yeah, they're sneaky this year because they were like they lost like 6 one-score games last year.
Yes.
So it's like, all right, if half of those go the other way, this is a team that is making noise in the Big 12. So Kansas is a team certainly to watch. It's an upperclassman laden team. And I'll tell you what, like Western Kentucky, they put up a lot of points as well, and they've got a senior quarterback he's old. I mean, he just turned 25 last week. But this is a guy he committed to Cliff Kingsbury at Texas Tech. Like we're like, oh, this guy has been he's the same age as I am. But when you're looking at Western Kentucky, that's another team from the outside the Power 5 that could make some noises here.
And then did you see the prep Friday night?
I did not.
Oh man, what a game. They were up 28-0. And they lost 31-28. But a couple of kids look really good. It was a great game. It's a shame they lost. A lot of fun.
Who they have? Who was against?
American Heritage, Dia Bell, who's going to Texas. He's Raja Bell's son. And he's a stud.
As soon as you say his name, I just hear the bells. I just hear the bells going off from the arena.
Charlie Falk, I thought, looked better than Dia Bell. Prep quarterback. Charlie looked good. And he's a junior.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right, we'll talk. I got notes for you off the Kansas game and Farmageddon. So
beautiful.
We'll share. My brother.
We'll catch up for sure.
Love you there, buddy. We'll talk to you later this week.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you.
Franny. Franny Films.
Feels like football, Franny.
It does. It is football. Coming up, I cannot wait for this interview. So you know how I am about film and television and how much I love it. And to marry film and sports Well, we have the master, the bet. Nobody's better than Ron Shelton at marrying sports and film. I have a case in point, Bull Durham, White Man Can't Jump, Tin Cup, Cobb, some of the great
Blue Chips.
he wrote, some of the great films, sports movies he directed and wrote. And so Ron's going to join us coming up shortly to kind of go over sports and cinema because we love it.
Yeah.
And this is a great week to do it. This is a lot of fun to kind of dive into that sort of thing. So that's great. But let's take care of some business. All right. Let's talk about Cherry Hill Kia. Speaking of Charlie Falk, Charlie's dad is Charlie Falk, the third. He's the fourth. And he's got a bunch of dealerships in South Jersey, including Cherry Hill Kia. All right. And if you want amazing deals and super low prices, just go to Cherry Hill Kia. Go see my friend Bill. Bill runs Cherry Hill Kia. He's going to give you a ridiculous price. He'll give you the cuz discount too. They have a massive selection, over 450 new Kias to choose from, over 40 Tellurides, over 100 Sportages, over 35 Carnivals, over 75 Celtos, and over 80 Souls. That's the VG model, the Soul. He's a soul man.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal. Kia is the hottest automotive brand in the country right now for a reason. 7 of their models received the 2025 Car and Driver Editor's Choice Awards, all right, which is amazing considering there were more than 450 models tested. Only 20 received the award, and 7 go to Kia. Combine that with the best warranty in the business, 10 years, 100,000-mile powertrain, 5 years, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper. All right, drive home your new Kia today. Just minutes from all the bridges, available online 24/7 at KiaofCherryHill.com. Again, go in, tell them I sent you, PHLY sent you, and they'll give you the cuz discount. You get a $100 restaurant.com gift card, feed you for lunch just for taking a test drive. Now, I know people buy Kias elsewhere. I just don't know why. Don't know why. All right, let's talk about Parks Casino. And I got to tell you about the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app again because of this great thing they're doing. The $25,000 giveaway in bets.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a big deal, man.
I can imagine opening up my account and seeing I had $25,000 in bets.
Well, to share, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you get 5,000. Maybe
Yeah,
you get,
all right.
Like, you imagine
anything
that?
in the thousands, I'm great with.
Yeah, sure you are.
Yeah.
The season's here. You know how much we love Bet Parks. So check it out. Birds, 7-point favorite against Dallas. The total's 46. Again, we'll give you all kinds of stuff, but Eagles and over, I think, is to start the season.
Yeah.
All right? I totally see it. My team at the Bet Parks online sportsbook and casino have you covered. An amazing offer to start the season. The Bet Parks $25,000 kickoff giveaway. All right? It's the only online sportsbook and app that we'll ever recommend. Here's how it works. New and existing Bet Parks users just place a $25 bet on the Thursday night opener with the Birds. All right? That means you're automatically entered to win a share of $25,000 in bonus bets from the team at Bet Parks.
Nice.
All right?
Yeah.
You'll bet your $25.
Yeah.
You got to do it. It's fantastic. BetParks.com is terms and conditions. Winners will be announced on September the 5th, on that Friday, day after, when we're on a Victory Friday.
Victory Friday, yes.
Yes. It's the $25,000 kickoff giveaway from my team at Bet Parks, where there's always another way to win. You got to be 21, PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We also have a big sale going on currently right now
What do we got?
with our diehards. So football season is ramping up. We're getting ready for kickoff, and we're getting ready for kickoff here at PHLY with a brand new diehard sale. $36. You can get a diehard. You can sub for it. Get the shirt, a free shirt, Eagle shirt. One of the 3 that we have here. These are new shirts that we have. Guys, become a diehard. It is
An
one.
eagle,
It
dude.
is one
Eagle
of
with the wings spread like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It is a great thing to be the diehard. You get Fran Duffy. You get all of his writing with football starting up. You get EJ Smith.
Oh my
You're going to
God,
get everybody.
Bo.
Bo. I mean, you're going to get Charlie O'Connor and all those guys, Sixers guys, everything here. $36 a month subscription. Just, you got to get it.
Cheap bargain.
Dude, the coverage, the amount of coverage you get is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
All of your written material, it's just great. We have a great staff of writers and journalists, so please become a diehard. All right. Now, joining us from his palatial spot.
Malibu?
Yeah, I think he's outside Malibu. Well, his house burned down in the fire.
Oh,
awful stuff.
Terrible.
So now, because of what happened with the fires, has temporary housing. So my man has been going through it.
Yeah.
One of the great people you'll want to meet, and incredibly talented, and a sports guy. All right, on the Xfinity mobile hotline, Ron Shelton. Good morning, Ron.
Anthony, how are you?
Good to see you, pal. Everything okay?
Yeah, this room is apartment. It may not have good sound because it's just a bunch of hard walls. Am I sound bouncing around back there?
No, you're great. You sound great. You look great. You
Okay.
sound great. It's perfect. So these lists come out all the time. Top 25 sports movies of all time. Whoever makes the list, you're always on it. And the one thing, just to start with, is you're a sports guy. You played minor league baseball. What I love about you is that all of your great projects, and I went through your whole filmography, it resonates with sports people, and I know that's important to you.
Yeah, first of all, Anthony, I only had 2 on the top 25. That's BS, you know what I'm saying? I should have had 4. I had 4 once. What happened, man? I got to make some more movies. I want to own that list. Anyway, just had to say what's real. Look, I never liked sports movies growing up because they always had a guy hitting a home run in the bottom of the 9th or the 99-yard, run back for a touch, whatever. And I played baseball my whole life. I played basketball in high school and college. The number of walk-off home runs or 3-pointers at the buzzer is like this many. It happened once, twice.
Right.
It doesn't happen. Your career ends on a ground ball to short. That's how your career ends, not on a walk-off. So, or a foul territory pop fly to third. There you go home. So, I wanted to just tell sports stories from the player's point of view, not the fans, because I thought if the fan would see what are they talking about on the mound. I'll tell you what they're talking about on the pitcher's mound, or what's going on in the locker room, what's going on the bus, I get to go home to the apartment with the guy and the girl he's trying to pick up, because television covers sports better than anybody can, but a movie can take his one camera all the places that the TV cameras can't go. And that's all I try to do.
Well, that's brilliant when you think about it, because you're right. I often wondered why there was not like an epic NFL movie, right? And then I start to think it's probably because of NFL Films captures the reality of the game itself, right? And they all have these Rocky-esque moments, right? Where it's like you said, the grand slam to win the game or whatever. And that gets old quick. But it's brilliant to be able to tell the actual story and humanize the athlete, the coach, and tell the real story of what sports is like.
Well, I had a script that'll never get made now, but about 15 years ago, involving the Eagles, because Jeff Lurie's wife at the time, Christina Lurie, they both came out of the movie business,
Yeah.
And she's a producer, very successful one. And we had this idea to do a behind the scenes of an NFL franchise, but we knew we couldn't use an actual one. But they gave me complete access to Philadelphia and the Eagles, and I hung out with them for 2 weeks. That was the year that it was Andy Reid. It was when McNabb, T.O. It was that year. So, and I went on 2 road trips with them.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I
and
was
wrote it.
embedded. I was writing a book, and I was embedded that year with them too.
I got to go on a road trip on the team plane to Detroit. I sat in the owner's box for a home game to watch things like, the owner, when a guy goes down is hurt, the owner's all over it with a player personnel guy. And once they see, it's not a star, they'll fine, he's okay. Oh, it's 82. Is it 82 or 88? It's 88. Okay. So I wrote a thing called The Franchise, and it was about the new franchise. The NFL is going back to Los Angeles at last. So this was obviously predates.
Right.
So I could tell the story of the politics of a new franchise. I could hide Georgia Frontiere stories and other characters, All the stuff. And in LA, getting Showtime back. Because when I grew up, it was the LA Rams was Showtime. Keep in mind, there was nothing else. And
Right.
Bob Waterfield married Jane Russell.
You're right.
I mean, that was like Travis Kelce and whatever.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I wrote this script. I turned it in on a Friday to Showtime. They all called me Saturday, say, this is great. We love it. And I'd had 2 meetings in the NFL office with Christina Lurie and the other producer. And Tagliabue was the guy, but everybody knew he was stepping down. And so who was going to replace him? Was it going to be Goodell or Ornstein or whatever the deal was? And they said twice, you can do this with our blessing. You can use brands and names. There's just only one subject you can't touch. And I said, can I talk about guys on the down low and the wide receiver core? Yeah. Can you talk about drugs? Yeah. Just be honest. One thing I can't touch, gambling. And that's all it is about now is gambling. In fact, the first 5 minutes of the show, all I'm hearing is gambling stories. So I said, great. And I wrote it, and Showtime says we're going to make it. And then head of CBS, which owns Showtime, called and pulled the plug on it because they just made a $2 billion, it's a lot more now, deal with the NFL. And they were afraid that the Rooneys or somebody was going to complain. And so that's why it fell apart. But I was in the starting blocks.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's funny that you use the Eagles as the team that you have to give you the inside.
They get Christina and Jeff was great. And they just opened it up. And I would hang out at the practices. I'd go, I'd interview. They had that great safety at the time, that little guy.
Ryan Dawkins.
Oh my God. And I'd get everybody's perspective. I talked to the trainer. I said, tell me about drugs.
Rick Burkhalter. Yes.
Yeah, he said, look, we do everything we can. We stop it. But you want HGH? Come here. I'll show you how to get it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. You just put your neighbor's number on it. It comes this from the Caribbean. You have it tomorrow. He said, I can't stop that. And my favorite one was I had the security guy who was a big character in my story.
Oh, Butchie.
Yeah. And how he gives everybody in the team, and they warn him about the women. And then, if you get in trouble, call me before the cops come. If the cops come, I can't do anything. If the cops aren't there, I can. And they knew every strip club owner in the town, the whole thing. That's a big character. Like 6 months later, the guy picks up a penalty for running down the sideline and running into players. Remember? That was my guy.
I was standing behind him when Andy Reid turns around because I was shadowing, his name was Butch Canico, right? And Butchie was the security guy for Ed Rendell, all right?
Okay.
So he comes from that kind of background. And fascinating guy. He was I used to call him Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction because he was the first fixer. And now they got a guy who was his protege, Big Dom, who you probably have heard of, who's the fixer now. And Butchie's yelling, and the ref turns around and flags. Andy turns around and looks with this glare, and Andy was a pretty big man. And But she's like, I'm sorry. I can't believe that that's the case. But your projects, now it makes sense because everything is stark realism. Like every detail that you have is real. Like you and I were having a conversation about a caddy and what the caddy will say with yardage. And you wanted to make sure that the verbiage was correct.
Yeah. Well, a caddy and a professional golfer, if it's a 187-yard shot, he doesn't say 187, he says 87. Because the guy understands the 100 part. So we shot it with Cheech telling Kevin, 92 or 68, whatever. But I also shot, say the way they don't say it, say 192, 187, because once we screened the movie, I knew that a bunch of yo-yos would write me letters and scream and yell saying, he can only hit a 7-iron, 102, whatever. So we put it back for the yo-yos. So, but you try to get it, the details matter to me tremendously. When we did Tin Cup, all the sports writers there, and Jimmy Roberts, who's a big, golf broadcaster, he came down, I gave him a line, and he's standing on the set of our US Open pretend golf course in Houston. And he looks down and there's a matchbook cover and he picks it up. It has the name of our pretend country club, whatever we call it, Pine Hills, and a logo. And all the marshals had matching polo shirts with logos. And he said, did you make these? I said, yeah, we printed the matchbooks to match the shirts that we made, to match the signs on and he couldn't believe it. So I just wanted, when you walk on the set, to believe you're actually there.
Wow. That's so cool. That's awesome. Let's go through some of those great films. Let's start with the legend, Bull Durham, and how that project came to be. And that story, and how important was Kevin Costner, who speaks, walks, looks like an athlete, right? Like the idea of becoming an athlete when you're an actor, it's got to feel real to you. And I think sports movies that predate yours, the actors didn't resonate as athletes.
Right, and because of television, you can't fool audiences anymore, even though I don't think Gary Cooper fooled anybody in 1940, whatever. You can't, audiences know what it looks like. Even I watched Sports Center 7 times, and my wife says, didn't you see this show already? Yeah, but top 10 again. I haven't seen top 10 5 times yet today. So I'm like everybody else. I'm also a fan, besides being a former player. That's the key is to make the sports movie appeal to the athlete and also the athlete's girlfriend who hates sports. I got to get both audiences. And Bull Durham, the short answer to Bull Durham is I wrote a book called The Church of Baseball that came out a couple of years ago and tells you where the movie came from, how I wrote it, how it connected to my life, and the wars, absolute bloody wars to get it made. Wow. That you can't see when you watch the movie. It looks like, wow, these guys are having fun. No, we weren't. Well, Kevin, the cast and I was having fun. The studio and I was not. We were in a war. And so
what were their issues?
They didn't like the movie I was shooting. They didn't like me. They didn't like Kevin. No, they liked Kevin. They didn't like Tim. They fired my cameraman. They wanted to fire Tim. They wanted to fire me. I said, I'm on schedule. I'm shooting the movie I want to make. Look at the script. Sometimes they just have nothing to do but complain. And then when I showed them the movie, they said, oh God, we love this. We were wrong. So at least they said that. But up until then, it was bloodshed. And I'm still in business with the head of that studio. So you have to take these wars the way some wars are in sports, I always remind people about the greatest franchise nobody can remember in baseball was the Athletics, the A's from the early 70s. Remember?
Yeah.
Reggie, Bando, those guys, and Vita Blue and Campaneris, and unbelievable team. They won 3 World Series in a row. And they fought like dogs, and they hated each other, and they got to the ballpark and they loved each other. Then they went home and they hated each other again. So just all I care about is when you step onto the field, you check your baggage at the gate. That's all I care about.
When you wrote the script, how much was it your experience? Was it mostly your experience?
Well, if I'd have experienced Susan Sarandon down the minors, I'd have stayed in the minors. But no, it was the camaraderie, the guys that everybody's always aware of being cut and released. You're living and dying with your stats. It's completely unglamorous, and it's the greatest time you'll ever have in your life. So it's all of the above.
That's awesome. White Men Can't Jump. With today, it's still it's an iconic cult film. It's got everything, man. And Woody was unbelievable. Both of them, Wesley Snipes, but the two of them. Tell us about how you came up with that concept, because it was just so great. I to this day, it's, to me, I call these movies click and sticks, right? So if I'm clicking around, I see it, I stick.
Click and stick. I'm going to put that on my next poster. This is a click and stick movie. I like that. Well, I played basketball in high school and college, and then after I was still playing pickup basketball in LA, and nobody knew who I was, but I'd been a big fish in a small pond, kind of a D3 college star, and so I could still play, but I'd made Durham. Still nobody knew who I was, and then I was just showing up 3 times a week to play, and there was a murder on the court. It was near Hollywood, so we all moved our game inside. A guy went to the locker room. A guy went to his car. He said, I'm going to the what he said, the glove box. And he came back. I wasn't there. I got to the court just after it happened, and a guy went to the car, got his gun, and shot a guy who was playing, because it was an argument over a charge block. That's what basketball players argument. And so the whole game went into this old rickety gym at the Hollywood Y, but it was a lot of really good players, former college guys, a mixture of guys on the fringe of the movie business. We had 7 NBA guys in our little league there. And I just realized there's a movie to be made here if I put it back on the street, because the arguments were so funny and they were endless. And it was a culture where if you could play, that's all that mattered. And I thought there was a democracy on the playground. There'd be a dispute, you'd argue. The argument was really important. Your mama jokes and all that. And then everybody get tired of that. And to settle the disagreement, somebody go to the top of the key and shoot one shot. And if he made it, he was right.
Yes.
There was no appeals court, no lawyers. Done. Game goes on. And if he misses it, I'm right. I mean, I thought I wish the world happened like this. This is
right. Hey, you got to shoot for it.
Yeah, that's it. Shoot for it. So anyway, that came out of that experience. And then Wesley, who's not a basketball player, was an incredible athlete. He did all his stuff. We just showed him tiny Archibald tapes and said, do this. And he learned all that. He's about 5'9". He gets that high above the rim. I'm not joking.
Wow.
And Woody could play. And he was a slow white guy, but he knows the game. He plaids, he cutes, he has a funny shot, but Woody understands the game. So, and they were just great together on camera. That's why I hired him.
It's interesting too, because you're right. That chemistry came alive, and there is a great culture, man. The ball breaking that happens on the court, right? Like that whole thing, man. It's playing because you love the game, right? And you're going to bet and all that stuff, but you really are out there because you love competition and you love the game. And it's physical and it's got its own rules. Like that's why the movie just speaks to all of us that way.
Well, that was the intention, and it was the most successful financial film I ever made. So,
and Rosie Perez, that started her. Like, she was great in it.
Yeah, that part was written for a upper middle class white girl going to like Smith or Bennington College who runs away with a bad boy, and 5 years later, it turns out he's kind of this slob. That's the background. And the casting director said, "Would you read a Latina?" And they said, "Sure, I'll read anybody. I don't care." But it shouldn't be black, because then with the Wesley thing, but it could be a Latina,
right?
Because I wanted all this racial mix. And Rosie came in to audition, and nobody knew her. She'd been in Do the Right Thing, but she only had 3 scenes on the title sequence. And she said, "I can't curse on this show, can I, Anthony? I want to do." She said, I can't audition today. I can't vocal audition today." I said, "Why can't you, Rosie?" She said, "I'm having a bad hair day, bad hair day." It's the first time I heard bad hair day in my life. It was 1991. I said, "Well, will you call me when you're having a good hair day? And come on back." Now, the producer was a woman. The casting director was a woman. They come in. And they're going, "Rosie, you can't, we have to show up when we have bad hair days." And I said, "No, she's going to come back in a few days when she's having a good hair day." They thought I was nuts. And about a week later, get a call, "Rosie's having a good hair day." I said, "Send her in." There is no straight male in the world that could tell the difference between her good hair day and her bad day. I guarantee you. But she walked in. I said, "Man, your hair looks great." She said, "I know. And she told me, I just said, "Give her the part, man. I can't understand anything she's saying, but she's perfect." That's true. That's a true story. And she said, "Absolutely, I love Rosie. She's great."
That is awesome. The greatest thing is that you somehow understand talent, and that you would say, "Yeah, all right, well, call me when you're having a good hair day." Like, I don't know people that would do that, right?
I think I'm the only one, actually, but why not? I mean, it wasn't like I didn't need to make the decision that day. Plus, there was something about just saying that. She drove all the way across town, where our office was down in South Central. She drove all the way down there to tell me she can't audition. You've already done the hard part, Rosie. Getting in a car, navigating LA traffic, come in and tell me. So she's a one-off. There's only one of her. She's great.
All right, let's go to the best of times, which is first of all, you got to tell people the genesis of the project, of the movie, because it's such a great story about these guys reliving their high school football moment in the big game.
Yeah, I wrote that. I didn't direct. I hadn't become a director yet. And, I was born in LA, but I grew up in Santa Barbara, which is a couple hours north. And Santa Barbara High School is I think the 3rd oldest high school in the state. It's a big high school. It's a very good sports high school. It's produced everybody from, Eddie Matthews and Jesse Orozco.
Wow.
To Sam Cunningham, Randall Cunningham.
Yes.
I mean, the list goes on. And there's Jamal Wilkes in basketball. I mean, but it's got a great tradition. And many years ago, and there is, of course, a crosstown rival, because there has to be a crosstown rival. And I got a call, it was 30 years ago, from a friend saying, "Hey, you coming back for the big game?" I said, "No, I have a life. I don't live in Santa Barbara. I love Santa Barbara." "What do you mean? What big game?" "Oh, it's the alumni guys from 19. What? I mean, a bunch of 40-year-old guys are going to replay a game against the rival?" "Yeah, because it ended on a disputed call, and there's guys in town still reliving that moment," which I realize is a universal thing. Every town in America has guys that are still wishing they were in high school. right? Or reliving high school.
It's part of the fabric of being men, and
Right.
who are stunted. When you peak early, that's
Yeah.
what happens, right? Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
we're in overtime, OT, thanks to our friends right here at Xfinity and our friends on Xfinity Mobile in overtime with the great Ron Shelton going through his filmography. Yeah, so go ahead. It's such a perfect story.
I don't go to see an alumni high school game, for God's sake. And then I get a call the next week. The guy said there was 15,000 people there. That's more than any of the high school games, Drew, by 5 times. So I thought, wait a minute, there's an idea here. And that was the genesis, me getting phone calls about an alumni high school game.
So how much do you take? Because it's so interesting, like what I kind of how your mind will work, right? Like when you see something, you go, you know what? The idea just sparks you, right? Like it's something in your personal life. It's something that you will around sports or whatever the story is. You almost have to have that antenna for the story, right? Like, what is the story that I can now blow up and make it a film?
Well, for me, I have to have connected to my experience in some way. I could make a lot more money if you say, Ron, will you write about a Death Star in outer space and science fiction? I don't get science fiction. I don't understand. I'm more fascinated by human behavior.
What? I love this guy. I tell my man all the time, because I'm not a sci-fi guy either. It's got to be about life, our life.
It's human behavior. Serious drama, comedy, tragedy, everything is, Shakespeare to, you pick your favorite movies today. Shit isn't blowing up in the background unless it's a mob movie. I like mob movies, but so the first thing is, do I spark to it? But the second thing is, will the people who finance movies spark to it? That's a whole different category.
Yeah.
I get excited about stuff and I'll tell the financing team and they go, what are you talking about? And I say, that's what everybody said about Bull Durham. Who wants to see minor league baseball when nobody gets the big leagues? I said, I do. And so that problem of selling is probably tougher than ever before, because it's all algorithms and computers and people. There aren't any human beings making decisions anymore. Everything goes into a computer and it says go or don't go. So, but I spark to a lot of things that the financiers aren't interested in. Trust me.
You wrote another one of my all-time favorites, which is Blue Chips. And I thought it captured the time so perfectly. It was the characters. I still talk about, Happy, the car dealer, right? And, you look at Shaq and Penny and how this whole story came about. It was such a great movie, man. It was one. Let's go to Louisiana and find Shaq, right? And his SAT score. But here you find out he's a real smart kid. How did that story come about?
Well, of course, it's dated now, since there is no such thing as college sports, as you and I know, Anthony. There's no such thing as amateur sports, but Little League's probably rigged too, from all I know. They're paying off guys in preschool. Give that guy NIL. I knew some people who were affected by all of this. My brother played high school basketball. He's younger than me at Santa Barbara High, and he was the captain, point guard. He's now an architect, but the power forward went to USC and later was a tight end at USC and for the Patriots. Another forward played 4 years at Stanford. Another guard went and played at Gonzaga with Stockton, and the other guy. They were all. It was a heck of a team. And one guy couldn't get into college, a D1 recruit, the other shooting guard, and he went to JC. and was going to go to New Mexico back when Norm Ellenberger had you remember that coach? New Mexico was the top 10 every year. They recruited from all over the country, and they were a power. Their arena was called the Pit, and nobody could beat them there.
Yeah. You can't.
Well, this other kid on my brother's team had Ellenberger had basically somebody in New Mexico had forged the JC transcript, and that brought down Ellenberger.
Right.
Ellenberger fell from grace and I don't think he ever coached again.
Right.
And a guy was telling me that story, and he said, yeah, you would get transcripts out of the back of the trunk of a Dodge, and the joke was they called it Dodge Junior College. So that's
wow.
I put down in the story.
Wow. Oh, so he was your inspiration for
that
Coach
led
Pete
to
Bell.
Plus it was all around us, the corruption and what's corrupt.
The UNLV days. It's great that Tarkanian makes a cameo because of he was at the center of all that stuff with UNLV.
I got UNLV stories that are off the air only for our other thing.
How did you think it came out? Because I thought it was great. The Nick Nolte, to me, I thought was great. I completely bought him as a basketball coach. When he's at practice and just the way he's coaching his big man, and just the way when he had a bounce pass, it was perfect with his thumb, the way your thumbs were, where you're supposed to be. It resonated to me.
Well, we hung out with Bobby Knight, of all things. We were in Bloomington.
Wow.
And we got to be behind the scenes with Knight for 10 days. That's a trip in itself, if you can imagine. But to watch him prepare for the big game that season against Judd Heathcote's Michigan State team, who had beat them earlier.
Yeah.
And this was a big game. And we were at his practices. He was such a genius at X's and O's and breaking down what Michigan State had done and anticipate. I mean, I never saw and they go out and they work some at half court, then they go and look at film. They go back and forth. And Knight was screaming and yelling the whole time. He was not a fully evolved adult male in other ways. He was, I mean, he was kind of an idiot savant. And I'm sorry, Bobby, but I mean, he was not mature. He was a child, but he was a genius at looking at it. The way Belichick can come up with a defensive scheme for anything.
Yeah.
That was Bobby Knight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Nolte got to watch him and on the court and in the locker room and all that. And we got
he got him. He got him down, to the practice, to the grease board. Speaking of which, real quick. So I'm in New York. I'm a young reporter, and he starts to unravel. Remember when he throws the chair at the kid?
Yeah, that's why we kicked the ball. We did the ball kick was a tribute to that.
That's great. So my editor says, go out to Indiana and go get me a Bobby Knight story. So I walk in, I'm at the game, and now it's a post-game press conference. And so I'm there, and he knows everybody, right? So he sees me, and he's like, why is the dude from New York here? And he's like, right off the bat, before anybody asks a question, what are you doing here? I'm coming here to do a story, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking until that guy's out. And I'm like, come on, Bob. I'm just trying to do, Coach, just trying to do my job. This guy, for 10 minutes, belittled me. I was scared. I was afraid of him, right? Like half afraid type of thing.
Yeah.
Intimidated, I should say, not afraid. Yeah. And he wouldn't start his press conference. And I just stayed there. And it was like, who was going to blink first? Finally, just went off. When you said he's not an evolved male, I'm so with you.
You know who told me that? You know who told me? Because I went out to dinner with her when we were shooting. Bob Cousy. because Kuzi was there for some of that. He's got a scene where he shoots free throws.
Oh, I remember. Yes.
He never missed.
Because he was the AD. That was a great scene.
Yeah, Bobby and Kuzi's a really interesting, thoughtful guy. And we're discussing him, and he said he's not a fully evolved, he's a brilliant, but he's not a fully evolved adult male. That was a direct quote from Bob Cousy.
Wow. How did you do Shaq, settle on Shaq and Penny?
That was the director. That was the director because he suddenly wanted to get all these guys that were about to be drafted. And so we had like 7 guys in the top. I mean, we had George Lynch, all these guys. And the director was Billy Friedkin, who, made French Connection. He made, what's the one, The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And he knew that somehow he had a connection with the Celtics. I don't know what it was. And his wife was the head of the studio, Paramount. So anything Billy wanted, he got. And so and on that set is where Shaq and Penny became friends and were calling their agents about getting a trade so they could play together. That happened right in front of me.
Wow. That's how they go to Orlando. That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so cool. Hey, you also wrote another film that I loved and I thought was so realistic. I also covered boxing and The Great White Hype. Samuel L. as the Don King character. It was so spot on. How much time did you spend in that world?
Well, I've never seen that movie because I didn't agree with the director. I wrote it. I was going to direct it, but I wasn't available. They wouldn't wait for me, so I got pissed off. I've never seen it. I thought it was the funniest script I wrote, but so it's a sore subject with me. But I spent a lot of time. I made another movie, Play It to the Bone, about 2 low-level fighters.
Yes,
based on a true story. 2 guys in LA who got a call on the morning, 2 Latino fighters. Could they get to Vegas that day to fill in an undercard fight that had just fallen out in front of a title fight? And they're afraid to fly, so they drove over together. And according to all the old boxing guys I know, said, put on the greatest fight you've ever seen. 10 rounds, they beat the shit out of each other, took their winnings and blew it in the casino, and then drove back to LA together, all beat up. So I thought, okay, that's a movie. I've spent a lot of time in the boxing world. I used to never miss a fight in Vegas. I knew Ross Greenberg, so I'd get these ringside seats, all the HBO fights. Jim Lampley is a very dear friend of mine. And Larry, George Foreman was going to marry us. He's been in our home. I've been in his home. And then our date changed, so he couldn't. So, we'd go to the Olympic Auditorium here, Johnny Tapia, Eric Morales. My wife was a nut for boxing. So I spent a lot of time in the boxing world and love it, actually, because boxing and horse racing are the only things that haven't become corporatized.
Right.
And the moment they are corporatized, they're dead. And maybe they're dead anyway now, but I love them because you can't control them. Everything else is just.
And also the richness of the characters, right? Like there's nothing to me. I wrote a story about Fight Night. It was before I think it was Tyson Holyfield, but it was the MGM Grand Saturday all day leading into the night, all the way till like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was like 6 to 6 type of thing. And, the characters that you see, from the celebrities to the prostitutes to the gamblers to the, there's one after another. And they're so interesting to me. I
was at that fight with my wife, Lolita, the actress Lolita Davidovich, and and we were sitting next to Shaq.
Get
And
out of here.
it was a Showtime fight, and not an HBO fight for some reason. And she just done a Showtime movie, so they said, "I hear you're a fight fan." Yeah, I want the. So we're like in the 6th row with Shaq, and that was the biting ear fight. And because we were so close, the big jumbotron, you couldn't see it. It was behind us, right? And my wife said, he bit him. And I said, "You didn't bite him. You don't bite guys. These guys don't bite." No, he bit him. And I'm thinking like, be very condescending, very patronizing male. And she was she was a better judge than half the ones in Vegas. And then he bites him again. I go, "God, you're right. He bit him." And there's his ear on the floor there. And then there was a riot.
Yeah, right. Do you remember? Because I covered the fight for the Post. So you know where the media sits ringside. And he spits the piece of the ear out. Like when he gnaws at it, he spits it, and it's literally like where we were with the media. Well, you could see it like come toward it. It was the most bizarre thing that you'd ever seen in your life. And he was trying to get DQ'd. You saw it.
Yeah. That goes back to stories in the Olympics where the only guy Tyson was ever afraid of was Holyfield. There's a whole history of this.
Yeah.
And I know Mike very well. I gave him a cameo in a movie. I've seen him here a lot. I like Mike a lot. I think the fact that he's still here and didn't wrap a car around a light pole, at 4 a.m. God bless him. And he's actually a very bright guy. Just, as he talks about, he was not diagnosed as he's medicated for bipolar, and so I root for Mike. I root for Holyfield too. I love boxers. These guys are so brave.
Yeah,
and they're in such shape. You have no idea what kind of shape these guys are in. I mean, nothing compares, because not only are you going 12 rounds, somebody's trying to hit you.
It's the truth. I mean, they're amazing. Like, I'll never forget, I was covering De La Hoya, and we were doing something where he's like, and I was much younger, and he's like, "Dude, I want you to go 3 minutes with your arms up, throwing punches."
Yeah.
By 60 seconds, your hands start to drop.
Right.
And by 2 minutes, you're like exhausted.
Yeah. And that's with nobody hitting you.
You're right. Right. Exactly. I'll never forget that fight. I'm in Evander's hotel room the Thursday or Wednesday because I'm doing a big Friday piece about Evander. And he's like, "I want you to write that I'm going to win." I'm like, "All right, whatever." And he goes, "I'm telling you, people bet on me. If you have to pay your rent, bet on me. Bet on me. Spend on." I'm like, "All right, And now he was the conviction for 90 minutes of him telling me he's going to win. I'm walking outside from his room to mine, and I have to pass the sports book. And I see at this point he's 18-1 as an underdog, and I got $100.
Who was the fight? Who was the fight against?
Tyson.
Yeah,
he was 18-1. I have a $100 bill in my pocket, and I go, I should bet Holyfield. And I'm like, "Nah, he's going to get killed."
Yeah.
And then you're right. There was the riot with Tupac, right? Or was that Tupac night?
I don't know. I don't think that was Tupac night. There was the big gang thing I went out the back door because there was a great restaurant called Michael's back in the day, and it seated like 30. And I knew the back way to get. I knew how to get out of that place.
That's awesome. Hey, you've real quick, Cobb, because Cobb's another, I think, a great biopic. Just an incredible, and Tommy Lee Jones was fantastic. Tell us about that project.
Well, that movie didn't do any business. It was supposed to. They thought it was going to win awards, and Warner Brothers, and they put it out at Christmas. It's not really a Christmas movie. And so it never got outside of 40 theaters. I'm very proud of it. I get more letters on that than anything. It's about the last days of Cobb, really, because and not trying to tell the world he was a bad guy. Everybody knew he had problems. I wanted to show where it came from. His this discovery that his mother he worshipped his father and his mother, and then he discovers his mother had a lover, and the lover killed the father, and that was a secret until about 20 years ago, and the press,
Yeah.
So he lived with that his whole life, and he was his rage. And he grew up, in northern Georgia in 1890. Of course, it's a racist world, but he was also a brilliant guy. He was on the board of Coca-Cola. He was on the board of General Motors from his Detroit days. But he was a mean prick. And, he hit 367 for his lifetime. If he hit 267, he might have been in jail. But at 367, we looked the other way, but Tommy was great, and I love Tommy anyway. And it's funny. I get a lot of letters from foreign producers and directors and writers who love that movie. They see it as almost a foreign movie because it's this operatic dark soul who's also,
It's a beautiful film. It really is just a beautiful film.
It's about the writer coming to terms with Cobb. It's true story too. Who is this guy? I'm supposed to write a story, a biography of.
Amazing. It really is. You've worked with all the best, right? I mean, Harrison Ford, Costner. We talked about Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson and Tommy Lee. What's it like with Harrison
Kurt
Ford?
Russell is great.
Kurt Russell.
And don't forget a guy named Paul Newman.
Yes. Yeah, my God, Paul Newman. I'm sure each of them have their own kind of special relationship with you. What stands out about these amazing actors?
Well, what everybody should know is that all of those guys that you listed are incredibly prepared and committed. It's sort of like they've got on top and they know how hard you have to work to stay on top, like sports. Hello. And they aren't lazy. They aren't, I want to take young actors and say, this is what it looks like, folks. These guys don't come to the set not knowing their lines. They're communicative. They prepare. They rehearse. Don't tell me you don't like rehearsal. Paul Newman couldn't get enough of it. How's that?
Wow.
Kurt Russell loves it. Costner loves it. Tommy Lee Jones has memorized the script before rehearsal starts. So you young guy, you like you want to wing it? Well, then I don't want a guy winging it.
Right.
If we got a football game, NFL, college, it's going to start. You're going to wing it?
Right, exactly.
So that's the first thing, how prepared they are and professional. Everyone's different, obviously. Paul Newman, very much has been written about him. He's not a very great guy, but hard to get close to. He's very distant. He's very insecure. Oh, the most insecure of all of them was Paul Newman, and yet he was a sweetheart. Kurt was a minor league baseball player, and I love those kind of guys because they have the work ethic. They're used to repeating things. Go out and take 600 ground balls. Great. They don't ask questions. Go to the locker room. Fine. They don't say, what do I do? No, it's,
Right.
I love athletes to work with because that's what they do their whole life. It's been repetitive and figuring out how to have fun as you work your ass off. So Kurt's like that. Kevin's like that. Costner. And Tommy Lee's like that. He was all Ivy League left guard at Harvard on that famous game, the tie game.
Yes.
He's the guy. where they scored 16 points in 42 seconds or something to tie the game.
Yep.
The headline was Harvard wins 28-28 or something like that. So yeah, I've got along with it. I get along with actors, and I think it's my sports background, being in locker rooms, clubhouses, bus trips, practices. I understand how multiple personalities can still fit into a team, and I don't get too high or low when something good or bad happens. That's a real athlete mentality. We didn't shoot the scene the way we wanted today. Don't panic. We'll figure it out. I'll fix it tomorrow. I'll rewrite. We had a great day. Don't get too high. I've been 4 for 4 and I've been 1 for 30. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's the jock thing that I think is real helpful doing what I do.
Did you get at all typecast to write and direct sports film?
Yeah, I did. Mostly because they've been more successful than anything else. So rather than fight it, I just said, okay, there's a lot more sports films to make, and I have 2 of them lined up. So John Ford was one of the greatest directors in the history of movies, and he made a lot of kinds of movies. He's most known for his Westerns. And he would introduce himself, hello, I'm John Ford, I make Westerns. That was it. Well, it's just like, forget the other ones. So, so I'm fine with that now. That's what it is.
Is there
they're never about the sport. They're about the people. So.
Right. But is there one story, maybe outside of sports, that nags at you that you want to do that has nothing to do with the genre?
There's a lot of them, but that's another phone call and possibly a couple of drinks.
I love it. Ron, you're amazing. I love your work, and I can go on all day with you. So I appreciate your time, man. This is a blast. Thanks for the thing. I'll leave you with this. Football's about to start, and give me in your mind the state of the NFL. And when after all this stuff, you're looking at the NFL, what do you see?
Well, it's funny because I was more of a college football guy, and now because I can't watch the transfer portal in action, I'm actually more interested in the NFL because it seems it's made for television, and I see these brilliant coaches actually figure out how to deal with all the craziness and all the attitude and all the money and the insane owners. And so it becomes with me about the coaches a lot. How come that guy keeps winning and they never get any draft picks? How come that guy can't win or that organization can't win and they get all the draft picks in the world? So it fascinates me from that. And at least we have a competitive LA Rams again, my childhood team. So that's fun. But you didn't know you were going to get a Philadelphia Eagles story today, did you?
I did not. I can't. I'm blown away. I'm just blown away by that. I can't wait to send you a text about all that stuff. We were in the same place. It's crazy to me. It's and what a great story that you got to sit with Jeffrey and Christina, and you were there with Andy Reid, and speaking of a great coach, he's a great coach.
A great coach. You can win any bar bet in America. He looks like he's from Western PA, right? You know where he's from?
LA.
Silver Lake in LA.
Yep, right outside Dodger Stadium. He grew up a big Dodgers fan.
Right. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. I bet you do. He's an interesting dude. These coaches, they make no money, right? Like up until you make it, right? And they go from. He was at San Francisco State, and he tells me a great story. And there's the scene is a great scene because it's him, because we have no money, right? So we go to this barbecue where one of the coaches, the head coach, and I take Tammy, his wife. He goes, we eat hot dogs, and then I have enough money to then go date night and walk around the wharf and buy an ice cream cone. And, the simplicity of all those hours and, and he's the same dude. He's got more money than anything, and he doesn't care. It's all about football. Yeah, and I spent a lot of time interviewing Tammy about all the stops along the way, and they were having the trouble with the issues, the sad issues with the Suns had just started to become public, and also Lurie has fun stories about buying that team with a vet and everything, but he says. They hired Andy Reid was a quarterback coach for Green Bay, and they just incinerated him in the local press. Lurie, what? This grumbly, big, fat guy with a mustache is going to lead us to the promised land? Yeah, he is, actually. Yeah. Isn't that why? It's his first night. I got one great story to share with you. Andy Reid's first night, he has the job, right? He's in Philadelphia. It's February. There's a snowstorm. Butchie, the security guy that you were talking about, takes him to this Italian restaurant in South Philly. In the restaurant is a couple and a priest. So they buy him a bottle of wine, Butchie and Andy doesn't drink because Tammy's Mormon. And so Andy's gracious and thank you. Then at the end of the dinner, the priest comes over to him. It says, hey, coach, boo! I just want to make you feel at home because that's what you're going to get here. That's a good story to end on, Anthony. Ron, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate this, and you're amazing. I mean, you set this whole thing in motion, and we love your work, so thank you. Thank you. Good to talk to you. Ron Shelton. What'd you think, VG?
Great stories.
Amazing stuff, right?
Yeah. Great.
Like these films, these movies that he made, and look, you're a theater guy, Andrew. Like these films, we all watched. I mean, Bull Durham is it goes down to today, all these years later.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite baseball movie. I know Major League's great, but I love Bull Durham.
Right. I love that stuff. I love it. All right. Before we get out of here, let's do a couple nugs and a back in the day.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the one we teased earlier. The quarterback's dad and brother, the losing Kansas State. Was it?
Yes.
Kansas State.
K-State.
Yeah.
It's a stop for beaches nuts. Beaches nuts.
We're a little frustrated with the loss, and they decided to take it out on each other. Like all good family members do.
I can't believe I thought they were fighting somebody else.
No. You would hope that they were.
Right? I thought they were fighting somebody else. I'm like, I see them. I didn't know they was each other.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a backstory as to why?
I haven't heard any backstory. Can I say also the Dublin? I get it, but I'm out on. It's making me want a dome. I'm out on the rain. The rain ruined the first half of the game. It was sloppy. No offense could get going.
One more.
It gets caught on social media.
Yes.
Could you imagine if you're Avery Johnson? You're like, yo, guys, you guys are killing me.
I just lost. And this is what I got to deal with. These are the questions I'm going to have to deal with from the press. Like, get out of here. Ben DiNucci, he got cut. It's his 7th time he's been cut.
Yeah.
So he went right to the airport, had a beer, and he tweeted it out, a picture of the beer, and said, I just got cut from the NFL for the 7th time beer. You wouldn't understand.
Hey, breaking news, real quick.
There's his beard.
I like the beard. That's fantastic. Washington and Terry McLaurin have reached an agreement on a 3-year contract extension that will get them on the field and in uniform for the opener.
Yeah, they had to do that.
So we expected it. Will Micah be next? Or is that thing just way after the weekend? It's wild. Jerry Jones talking to Stephen A.
Yeah.
Going through the whole lineage of everything that happened.
Micah lying down on the table during the game. Brian Schottenheimer's supposed to have a talk with him today about his behavior on the sidelines. That's going to go over really well.
I know. Oh, man, it's a mess. And we love it.
We love it. I'm trying to get. Oh, is Baldy on tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, we'll see. Baldy did a premonition I'm not happy about. Have you seen it?
I saw it. Do we have it?
It's not great. It upset me.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm in LA on the main set at the NFL Network. We're 11 days away till we kick things off. Lincoln Financial Field, Cowboys, the Eagles, 2025-2026 NFL season. I woke up this morning to a premonition. And you know, if you follow me, these premonitions are not hollow words. These things come true. I'm just telling you right now, Super Bowl 60, Levi Stadium, Santa Clara, California. The team that's going to be hoisting the trophy has never hoisted a trophy before. I'm not going to give you any more hints. I'm just telling you right now, Baldy's premonition, Super Bowl 60, a team that has never won the Vincent T. Lombardi Trophy before, the confetti is going to be falling on that team.
I want to boo Baldy so bad.
Well,
I want to boo
I think
Baldy
he's feeling
so
Detroit.
I was going to say Bills.
I was going to say Buffalo.
I think he's on the Bills.
Yeah.
It's either, I was texting him last night about it because he was cracking me up. I go, all the dramatic. I like when he goes third person. You know, Baldy's premonitions. Right?
Not hollowed words.
Yeah. When he goes third person, you know, right? So I'm thinking it's Bills. I thought it was Bills.
Yeah.
It could be the Lions, but I think it's Bills. I think that's what he's thinking.
That's what my first guess was Bills.
Because, by the way, they played Saturday, and he did NFL Network.
He covered it, yeah.
Yeah, so I know him, and he probably saw Sean McDermott interviewed, and he was probably like, oh, yeah, it's the Bills. Bills are winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That bummed me out.
Yeah.
All right, we'll finish on a high note. Big Dom had a big weekend.
Big Dom!
At Saratoga. The horse, Big Dom, did all right.
Yes. So you know the backstory?
No.
So Big Dom, and I tweeted it actually, Big Dom, the horse is owned by a buddy of Donnie Jones, the former Eagles punter.
Nice.
And he loved Big Dom. So he named the horse Big Dom after our Big Dom. That's how it happened.
You know that horse has got to be a winner.
Yes.
It's got to be a winner.
Big Dom, baby.
Yeah, I got to follow Big Dom's career. I'll bet Big Dom whenever Big Dom runs.
Yes. It paid like 3.5 to 1, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good price.
Did I not send it, Frazier?
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. It was great. All right, let's finish up with a little
back in the day.
Back in the day, baby.
I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going back in the day with Truman. Oh, yeah!
All right, the 16th anniversary of this Phillies play took place over the weekend, August 23rd. Saturday was the 16th anniversary. Our man, Eric Bruntlett, you remember what he did?
Yes. Bruntlett.
The last unassisted triple play in baseball.
Yeah.
2-2. The runners go. Line drive caught by Bruntlett. He makes the 10. It's a triple play, and the ball game is over.
It's a walk-off triple play.
Against the to end the ball game. Unbelievable.
I love it.
That was a good one.
Well, we got a big one tonight. Mets.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go, Phils.
Yeah, let's go, Phils.
I like it. I like it. Everybody, great job. Andrew, have a great day, everybody. We love you. Thanks for hanging with us. See you tomorrow.
We all silly like the